right, there we go. We'll do it live.
Do it live.
We'll do it live. All right. It's another Tuesday. That means good things. I like Tuesdays. Going to help some people out today, do some takeovers. Try to make it through a stream. I just took some cold meds. Hopefully those will kick in the next half an hour and have me humming along.
There you go.
Yeah. We have...
How you feeling? Starting to get there? Is it not starting to get there? How you doing?
Yeah, good question. I've been better. I've been better. So basically, I if you've gone through this, it's like, it's a little bit less predictable. Usually you get a flu. I was saying this the other day. It's like you kind of get a flu and you kind of bottom out and then you have a bad day and then you start to get a little bit better. And as soon as you start to get a little bit better, you're on the way up. You're back on the mend. Even if it takes a while, every day is going to be a little bit better than the day before. With, COVID, it's an entirely different situations. Like you can have a good day and then a bad day and then a good day and a bad day and can linger for weeks. So I'm optimistic. I've had 2 days in a row that weren't worse. Right? I haven't gotten worse. The worst day was Saturday or whatever it was. So now I've had or Sunday, I guess. I've had 2 days where I didn't feel any worse. I don't feel great, but I feel like I could put in a couple of hours of work, each day and yeah. It's been a lot trying to do all of the, like, playing 3 accounts, the challenge account, trying to get the fusion done on 2 accounts. So the fusion is finished. And for the first time today in like a week, I feel like I can just relax a little bit, like rest up and not stress out about falling behind more. I don't really care about the current events. Like I know there's a whole Lunar Festival Titan thing and you can get a 5-star soul. That would be nice on my main account, I suppose. But I'm really not going to stress about it. And the monster path seems ridiculous to me. So I'm not even going to worry about that too much. I'm going to try to get the points I can on my main account. But like, I'm not going for the free champion. Because that's an absurd point total there. So I'm just trying to look at it as, there are some free resources out there. There's a Forge Pass going on. So there's like plenty to do in the game right now. There's tons of stuff to do in the game every day. And this is actually on my new Versus Pro account right here. I didn't even realize. There's also the specialist summon pool with the prism shards that's going on right now. Now, we were talking about this earlier. This is a pretty cool pool. I like the legendaries in this pool. They're all good legendaries. They're all usable legendaries. And obviously, we've got another chance at the archer here. So I'm going to try to get myself 2 pulls on my main. See if I can't get lucky and pull the archer. Theodore is also a fantastic champion. He would be a huge win. I don't have him on the account. Snick Track is a great tank. I don't have him on the account. I think I pulled Countess Lix not that long ago. So I do have the other 3. As far as the epics are concerned on my main account, I don't need any of them, but there are some pretty good epics here. Ruella is top notch. She's great for a lot of places, but a lot of boss fights. Great in Doom Tower. We've got Stagnite, who's pretty much a beast everywhere, and Lady Annabelle, who's one of the easiest solo champions for Bommel in the game. Maybe the easiest solo champion for Bommel in the game. And Bommel will be the next rotation. So we have about a month before that pops up. As for the other epics, there's some decent ones there, but nobody who's crazy outstanding. The only one that I need, other than those 3, I don't need those 3, but the only one that I actually need here, I think, is this guy, Neldor Rhineblade, who's relatively new. And he is great for Fire Knight. Triple hitter on his A1, each hit has a chance of freezing. 4-hitter on his A2, and then a 2-hitter with a decreased speed on his A3. And then whenever an ally places a freeze debuff, this champion has a 30% chance to attack the target with their default skill, which of course could land more freezes. So really good for Fire Knight, really good for Fire Knight hard mode. So I would like this guy. He's one of the few epics in the game I don't have. But really the win for me would be Archer. So that would be cool.
Yeah. Be the win for everybody.
Yeah, I know you're hoping to get 2 pulls as well on your account, right?
Yeah, that's kind of been my my debate this morning. I think for the energy cost, if I can get it done today and get that Sand Devils tournament done, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And then because what I didn't think about that also kind of counts in here is I believe you get an Immortal Soulstone and some other Soulstone rewards during that event.
Yes.
Which can then actually be used for my monsters, or whatever you want to call that, whatever path event that it is, where I need to get at least the 80 points there, since I'm not going super hard. So it's kind of a little bit of a double dip, almost even. So yeah,
you're talking about the Sand Devils, yeah. Yeah, so this Soulstone's going to get you 1,500 points, I think, or 1,750 or something like that.
It's 1,500 for those.
Yeah, and then this one will get you 100. So that's 1,600 points there, which is not a bad thing. So yeah, it's actually
plus
based
the
on
coins,
based on that it's actually a triple dip, right? It's not even a double, or it's actually a quad dip when you think about it. Because the single dip is
it's a triple.
No, the single dip is always what you get from the drops. Like that's what you get from the dungeon. So that's the single dip. The double dip is the tournament, right? So you get all of the tournament rewards here. But you know, in a way, like those rewards actually get used twice because you have them in other places. So I guess yeah, it's sort of more of a triple dip. Because you're getting points for the Titan event, plus you're getting, I don't know if they're calling it, is it it's a lunar event now? What are they calling it? Lunar Festival Titan event. Yes, Titan event. Plus you get the prism shards for the shard pulls. So the only downside of this, and I still don't like this, is these prism shard pulls don't count towards anything. They don't count points towards a champion chase. They don't count points towards a summon rush. They don't count towards, like, yeah. They should. They should. I know they're giving them to us free to a certain extent, but it's like people also spend money on them. These should count just like regular shards. I don't like the fact that they don't. But all right, let's see how chat's doing. We got Dinky in the house. Freak Show, Caveman, Sabik, The Real Techniques, Burso, Alex, MZ, Steve. Great Dane is here. Premier Craft. Triax Neketsu. Yeah, we're doing it live. Bryce is in the house. Ian Godwin, Sweet Silence. Good to see you, Silence. Sean Mallet. Ginger. Pavel. I'm not sure how to say this one. I'm going to call you Annie. Anirud. Loved Shelton and Hazard. There we go. Duvelman Moose. We got more people. Stephen Markley. Good to see everybody. Good to see all those tags. Thanks, Alex, for the pro emotes there. I appreciate that. I don't know what that means, Techniques. My old lady just popped positive this morning. Does that mean she's pregnant? Is that what that means? All right. Oh, COVID. Okay. I was like, I don't know what popped positive means. I'm sorry to hear she's got COVID. Yeah, it's no fun. Captain Volcano, good to see you. Elkson, Joe Ramuni, Richard Clifton, Dustin Holland, Dinky, good to see everybody. All right. Yeah, the prism shard events aren't great. Like it's more free shards. That's how I try to think about it. It's more free shards, and you get an opportunity to get some cool champions. I mean, this is basically, it's not quite, but it's basically a sacred shard. 5% legendary, 95% epic instead of 6% legendary and 94% epic. So it's slightly worse, just slightly worse than a sacred shard. And you have a chance to get potentially 2 or 3 pulls. You know, this is a 3.5 day event still. Like, it's over 3.5, it's 4-day event. So there's only currently one way to get prism crystals or prism shards or whatever the heck they're called. And that is the Sand Devil Turn Attack. But there will be more, right? We've got these other tournaments coming up. My guess is that these, the Tag Arena tournament, maybe the Dragon Turn Attack, we know we're going to earn lunar points here. I don't know if they're going to overlap those things. You know, maybe they don't want to give it all to us in the same event. They might like give you competing events so you can kind of choose which one you're going to go for. I don't know. But I do try to just think of it as extra free shards. I just wish it counted towards all the places that shards normally count towards. And it doesn't, unfortunately. It's a pretty good pool, though. I'm happy with the pool. I've been messing around with Islan recently. He's very good. And I think Oella is, I think she's actually fairly solid. And originally, I think most people thought she wasn't going to be all that great when she was a fusion, but I'm glad I got her when I did. All right. All right, so this is a Takeover Tuesday, just to let everybody know the procedure if you haven't been here before. So what you need to do is you need to join the Discord community if you haven't already. And in the Discord, you're going to head down to a section called Coaching Corner. It's, I don't know, halfway down. It's at least halfway down, probably halfway down. Coaching Corner. And in the Coaching Corner, there is a channel called the Wheel of Takeover. You're going to enter that channel and you're going to react to Sun's message. That's going to put you on the wheel. You don't have to do anything else. You just have to react to the message. We'll spin the wheel in a few minutes and the winner will get a free takeover. Now, in order to be ready for your takeover, you want to have your email address and password ready to go. And then as soon as you win, you can just DM me that information in Discord. Send it directly to me. Don't send it to Sun. Don't send it anywhere else. Don't post it publicly. Just DM it to me. Sun will give you a new role that'll allow you to jump into the Coaching Voice channel with me. And then you can mute the stream so you can hear me live, because the stream is about 10 or 15 second delay. And so you don't want to have to wait in order to hear what I'm saying. And then you can just shoot me another DM. Let me know what it is that you would like me to do with your account, and we'll try to make it work for you. Quick note, everybody can win once every 90 days. The 90 days reset in the new year. We decided to wipe everybody's slate clean. So if you won back in 2023, you are all set. You have a new opportunity to win this year. But if you have won in the last 90 days, then you will not be eligible. Did I miss anything, Son?
Oh, kind of killed it on that one.
All right.
Everything except for the delay. I think I fixed the delay for the most part. But
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, I think it's only like a second or two behind now.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't mind a few second delay, but sometimes it seems longer than others. I don't know why. All right, so let me jump out of here.
Son, how about a Discord tag for Takeover winners just for funsies? Everybody who is a Takeover winner gets a tag in the Discord. That's how we actually keep track of them.
Yeah, that's how that works.
You get it for 90 days.
Yeah. Just pulled an Eldor. Congrats. That's fantastic. That's who I'm hoping for. Hey, Ephemeral. Thanks. I'm not feeling worse. So I'm not it's going to be a shorter stream today. I'm not doing a 6-hour stream. That's not going to happen. I'm going to try to do a couple of takeovers, help some people out, and then call it an early day. Yeah. So, all right. How are we doing on the wheel? Let's make sure the wheel is getting fired up. All right. It's already doing quite well. We've got almost 60, almost 60 reactions there. So yeah, I don't want to delay too much. So I think we're going to give it just about another minute and then we're going to spin that wheel. So if you haven't reacted to the wheel yet, you should do so if you want your takeover. Jacob got Theodore, Calvalax, and Corvus. Can I make some nutty poison explode team with them? You actually can. You can make a nutty poison explosion team with those three champions. That would be fun. That would be fun. Yeah, so Theodore's the poison exploder, right? It's not really a poison explosion, it's poison activation. Poison explosion is different. So technically they're coded differently and they work differently. So if you don't know this, and I didn't know this, so I don't know what, if you've never tried this, it's kind of an obscure thing. There are a few champions that have poison explosions. And what that does is it activates all stacks of all poisons on all champions simultaneously. So the champion that I have who has this ability is Elenarl in the High Elves faction. And you can go and check her out in the index and you can see how the wording is for that skill. I think it's her A3. Then there are poison activators. Now, poison activators activate certain numbers of stacks, and it'll designate how many stacks that is. That's technically not a poison explosion. Now, the difference can be significant, but the important thing is that poison explosion doesn't work on the clan boss, doesn't work on the Hydra boss. So you just don't get any damage from it, whereas poison activation does. So poison explosion can be great for wave clearing in dungeons or in Doom Tower, but poison activation is better for clan boss and Hydra boss. All right, so I think that's enough. Let's go ahead and spin this wheel. We got a lot of reactions. Let's do a takeover. I'm excited. I always like doing takeovers. It's fun. Alex breaking out the deep squats emote there.
Deep squat.
That emote makes no sense to anybody who wasn't part of that conversation.
Just the way I like it.
Yeah. Obscure and slightly disturbing. Hey, Kate.
Got our first winner.
Good to see you. Demon Yoruba. All right, Demon. Congratulations on your win. So all you got to do is shoot me a DM. Actually, Dane, you're here in the stream, aren't you? Yeah, okay. You're here in the stream. I hope Demon didn't walk away. Hey, Mario. How you doing? Sometimes people do this. Sometimes people, I mean, I don't know that he walked away, but sometimes people sign up and then, they go grab lunch or something because they don't know it's coming. So we will give Demon just a minute. Alex says, like the dang stream, get this handsome face out there. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. I should like the stream. Can I like the stream? I think I can like the stream. All right, while we're waiting, let's get a poll going. We always need a poll, right? This isn't a Call Red Plays live stream without a poll. We need a good one for today. I'm working on it. I'll be right there. There we go. I'm kind of curious about this one. Just what kind of takeovers do you like to watch? Now, I know those aren't all of the kinds of takeovers, so just pick which one of the 4 you like the best. Dark, good to see you. Richard Clifton. Olu Costa. Hammerhawk is here.
All right. For
Kyle
all
Morris.
those that are interested, we are going to reset the wheel and we're going to spin again.
Oh, poor Demon.
Well, Demon is actually here, but he had won already.
Oh, he did? Wait, was it a different name before?
Might have been. But yeah, he'd won previously in January 9th.
Gotcha. All right, so we're going to respin. So we're going to reset the reactions.
Do you want to reset?
Yeah, we're going to reset the reactions. So sorry about this, folks, but you're going to need to react again. Remember, if you've won in the last 90 days, it would be preferable if you didn't react to the wheel. I know it's fun to react to the wheel, but we don't want to have all our previous winners getting pulled. It slows things down a little bit. But no worries.
Everybody do the pet the Geo.
What's your thought on monsters and lunar things? I'm frustrated with the point total on the monster chase or whatever it's called, the hero chase. I'm trying, so it's not a free champion. There's just no way that free to play players are going to get that champion. As for the lunar like Titan event, that feels okay. It feels hard, but it feels doable for players who are really active and have been playing for a while as free to play players. Like, I think I have a shot at getting the 5-star soul on my main account. But it is a commitment. You know, it's like doing a back-to-back fusion. And honestly, I'm not sure I'm up for the grind. So we'll have to see. Would there be a way to integrate other clans into your cluster? Ian Godwin says, we've gotten a couple of requests for cluster mergers. And at the moment, we are politely declining the offers. The reason is pretty simple. We just got the cluster up and running. We literally just got it up and running. And so we want to iron out the kinks. We want to see how the cluster balances out. We want to see if we are short players, if we have too many players, if we need to add clans, if we need to consolidate clans. We want our officers to get their feet under them and kind of figure out what it is that we're doing. And we're still kind of designing our identity. So we want to make sure that we have spaces available for viewers who want to be part of our clan cluster. But at the moment, we are not adding pre-existing clans. So we're not taking clans that already have people and bringing them in. We may do that in the future. I don't know. There is sort of a plan for a 6th clan from the Cold Red Plays cluster that would be a new clan. But that's on hold currently. We just expanded to 5 yesterday. Currently, the 5th clan is open for transfers. So anybody who's in the cluster who qualifies for the new clan, because it's the highest clan, they can apply for a transfer in the Discord community. So if you're interested, you could go check out the requirements for that clan and then make a transfer application if you want. And then we're going to give everybody about one more day to kind of settle the transfers. And then we're going to process the applications because we have probably about a dozen players who have already applied to that clan who qualify. So we'll get them processed next. And then we'll see what happens with the overall cluster in terms of how many spots we have left. I think that what's going to happen is some people are going to shift upward. And so there are going to be some sort of mid-tier clans that have spots. So if you're looking for an active clan and you're, say, hitting Brutal or maybe Nightmare Clan Boss, there are going to be some spots open for clans like that. Or for players in clans like that. So yeah, so right now, that's it. But we'll see what happens in the future. And I'm not entirely opposed to the idea of cluster mergers, but for right now, we're just trying to take it slow, make sure we do the job right. James Morton says, I just enjoy to watch the channel. Hearing the logic, game sense, and trolling is quite enjoyable. Yeah, well, I wonder who supplies what. You're looking for a clan that downs hard and brutal. Yeah, we have a clan like that. You could come and make an application. There will be spots in clans like that. Although I don't know how many spots. It might only be like 3 or 4. So we'll have to see. We have over 100 players. We're approaching something like 140 players in the cluster. Ian Godwin says, I'm stuck, would like to join your clan, but don't want to leave my clanmates. I understand. Well, depending on how many players are there, they could all apply. But yeah, send me a DM. We can talk about how to make that work, maybe. But right now, like I said, we're not going to add a new clan to the cluster, especially a preformed clan. All right. So, how are we doing on the wheel there?
It's spinning.
All right, let's spin it. Darth free to play. All right, Darth free to play. Congrats. What's going on here? Oh, I got my phone. Got my main. All right, we got the DM. Maybe. Nope, that was a different DM. Where you at, Darth? Shoot me a DM. I saw Darth in chat before, didn't I?
I believe I did. We'll get a hold.
I've got a DM from October with Darth. He probably died. May as well pick a game. So pick again, says Grim. Some days we get a little bit unlucky with this. This happens from time to time. Oh, there's Darth. All right. We've got it going. Sorry, people. Some of you were probably hoping he wasn't going to be here, but he is. Darth has been watching for several months. It's always nice to get a long-time viewer a takeover. All right. Darth Chaos. All right, Darth, what is it that you're looking for help with? What would you like me to try to do for you today? Level 60. We are... Which clan are you in here? Ultimate Sun Knights. It's Team Sun. All right. We got a Team Sun here. What are we looking to do? Ooh, there's a Corvus Soul sitting there. How many days logged in are we? 154. So it's a noob versus pro account, I think. Are we on day 154, son?
Fortunately, I'm now behind, so I can't check anymore. But it should be right around there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's right around there. Arena or Nightmare Clan Boss help, preferably. Okay. Let's take a look at the roster, as always. Okay, so you're sitting on 11 6-stars, which is very nice. That's good progress. You've got a Sill of the Drakes, which you pulled from a shard, apparently. You do have a Godseeker Aniri. You have an Allure, very nice. Rector Drath is fantastic. You have Wisgar. I'm excited about this guy. I want to kind of pull him on an early account so I can mess around with Fire Knight. You have a Countess Lix down here. Let's see. Anybody really interesting? Mistridor Dathi. Okay, let's look at the vaults. You got an Ashma. You've got a Painkeeper. Heelfrig. An Eris. You got lots of chickens. All right, looks good. All right, well, let's take a look at your current clan boss team. And you also said Arena. Let's just take a quick look at the clan boss, because Arena is something that we can work on as well, maybe if we have some time. Okay, so you're pulling down about 17 million a key on Nightmare, so that's a 3 key. But you're closing in on a 2 key. And, oh, you do have Elva. I didn't even see that. How did I miss that? There she is. She's right there. Okay. All right. So this is interesting. This is probably a new team. You just put Rathalos in. You've got Geo. Geo gives you the HP burn, and then Rathalos does extra damage. You have poisons from your Frozen Banshee, and then you have a decreased attack, decreased defense from your Duke the Pierced. Elva gives you increased speed and a block debuffs buff. Is this speed tuned? I'm assuming it's not. I'm assuming this is just run it and see what happens kind of team. Now you have Brimstone here on Elva, and she's got her full masteries. You got the masteries on Frozen Banshee, got masteries on Duke the Pierced. Masteries. Well done. Good job. Okay. So I mean, I think the team's okay. I don't know about Rathalos yet. I'm reserving judgment. I think Rathalos is going to be a decent clan boss damage dealer. But how strong is he? I don't really know. Looking at your team, you have 3 damage dealers, right? You have Geo, Rathalos, and Frozen Banshee. So while that's okay, well, that's okay. What you typically see is as you get into higher levels, you need to dedicate more champions to surviving. And if you're using poisons and HP burns, remember that the damage increases as the level of the clan boss increases, because the larger the HP pool of the clan boss, the more damage each debuff does. So poisons actually scale as you go up, whereas direct damage does not, right? Rathalos is going to do less damage against Ultra Nightmare than he does against Nightmare. He's just not going to hit as hard because the clan boss has more defense the higher it goes. And so that just naturally reduces his damage. Now, he does ignore defense here, so I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work with his A2. He can ignore 100% of the target's defense, so that damage may just stay the same. And then, obviously he has the increased crit damage with the increased speed buff. Now, the increased speed buff makes him a little bit tricky to speed tune. I'm not sure how that's going to work either. So I don't know. The decreased defense isn't something you definitely, need extra of, although it's not bad to have, different affinity from Duke to Pierce, and Duke doesn't have 100% uptime. It's up for 2 on a 3-turn cooldown. So depending on how fast you're going, you could have it up 100% of the time, as long as he's not weak hitting. The team itself is not bad. My thought in sort of not the long run, but in the mid run, like in between now and whenever you get an unkillable team, or you get like, an infinity team or something, is can we get more survivability out of the team, or better buff or debuff coverage by speed tuning it? Now, there are a couple of Elva speed tunes. Let me see if I can find you one that would work. Yeah, so I'm here on Deadwood's site. Let me shrink myself down a little bit. All right, so there's this team composition. Now, I know it's an unkillable speed tune, but that doesn't necessarily matter, right? Like, you can look at speed tunes as just speeds for champions. This is a very fast tune. You really need 3 champions running very quickly, so this feels like it's a bit out of reach. Now, what you could do is you could look through speed tunes and try to find like a 2-to-1. Now, specifically, I'm talking about 2-to-1s because they use speed boosters, and she's a speed booster. So you can maybe find one with a speed booster. That was the one we were just looking at, right? Mithru Elba. Okay. And this is where like the myth air comes in. So you have these. Now you could do the same kind of setup here with anybody on a 3-turn cooldown. Like, so let's say we look at this calculator. Okay. And so what you'll notice is this is the way one cycle goes, right? So you get to a 2-to-1 and you have Demitha putting her A3 down each time. Now, the reason that she can do that is because Painkeeper is reducing the cooldowns. So it's taking from a 3-turn cooldown to a 2-turn cooldown, but everybody goes twice, right? So let me just double check. So the only way to do this, by the way, is with 2 Painkeepers, actually. So you can't do this with 1, and I think you only have 1. Let me double check your roster. You had 1 Painkeeper, right? There's 1. Yeah, so maybe not that speed tune. But anyway, just like from a theory standpoint, the whole thing about this is like, okay, this is an unkillable team, but the speed tune works regardless. all you need is somebody who's got a 3-turn skill here. It could be an increased defense. It could be a strengthen. It could be an ally protect with a strengthen, ally protect with a decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. You put them at the bottom here, and you've got coverage for all of those, attacks. You've got the defensive up. And because you're going at a 2-to-1, you can see literally everybody goes twice. You're going to get twice as many attacks in, twice as many procs of War Master, twice as many procs of Giant Slayer. So you can start looking for this kind of stuff. I think based on where you are, I actually like your team. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I think you've got a good concept. You saw Rathalos, you already are running Geo. You say that's an extra way to get damage out of that HP burn. Obviously, you can still book out Rathalos, get more damage that way, get his cooldowns reduced. And then you can start looking for a speed tune. Now, it can be a little bit tricky doing a speed tune with just a single increase speed champion. So you can mess around in the calculator and try to find it. And when you come here to the speed tunes, like I said, you can look at other champions that have the same skill on the same cooldown. The one that I can think of off the top of my head is Lydia. Mashalad has one, but he has an extra turn mechanic. So maybe Krisk. So a Krisk speed tune might work. But this White Whale Lydia is a real nice basis for a single speed buff. But you need a buff extender to make this work. But this is also another tune where you get eventually where here it comes into tune. Here. So you can see it's a 2-to-1. Now it's just weird because Godseeker and Eerie's taking up another line there. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, there it goes. Now they're all the same size. Okay, so what happens is Lydia gives the increased speed buff, and then Godseeker and Eerie extends it. Now you do have a Godseeker and Eerie. Lydia has the speed boost on the same kind of cycle that Elva does. The nice thing about this one is this speed tune is made without a speed aura, and you have Elva who's got a speed aura. So all you would want to do here is come in here and, do this. Say, okay, I need to get down to 268. So that means I need to drop all the way down to probably there, right? And so you have to reduce all the speeds accordingly and see if it still lines up. Now, it probably should. I'm already messing up, but then you can see if it works for Elva, Now, what I've found in the past is that there's a glitch with one of Elva's skills. I don't know why in the calculator. I don't know if they fixed it. So if you speed tune it with Lydia and then throw Elva in, it should work. But if you actually put Elva in the calculator, it doesn't look right. But that would give you an opportunity to potentially speed tune off of those two champions. And again, you can kind of figure out what you need in the other 3 spots, and that'll at least get you a speed tune and some speeds to shoot for, and it may be that with the speed aura that Elva is bringing, it's manageable. With 19% speed aura, maybe you need to get somewhere between, it looks like, 200 and 250 on everybody. That's generally potentially possible. You're a little bit early for maybe getting 5 champions to those speeds, but you can mess around with the speeds and see what you can accomplish. So, look at this White Whale Lydia. It would take way too long for me to do this for you right now on the takeover. But this would be one I would look at because you do have Elva would stand in for Lydia here, and then you have the buff extender, and it could be your Godseeker and Eerie, who you have, I'm pretty sure. I was just looking at, right? Your Godseeker and Eerie right here. Now you'd have to get her out of Relentless, to have to put her into something. And remember, in terms of masteries, you want to watch out for things that increase. Now, with Godseeker and Eerie, you don't have to worry about rapid response or arcane celerity because she doesn't do debuffs or buffs. But you want to watch out for Cycle of Magic because her buff extension has to happen in the right place. You can't give her Cycle of Magic. But otherwise, I mean, I think you're doing well. I don't see any. One thought I've had is like you may end up pulling Frozen Banshee. If it turns out that Rathlos makes a lot of sense and he works really well in terms of the damage with Geomancer, you may leave him in and pull out Frozen Banshee. The downside of pulling out Frozen Banshee is that now your damage dealers are the same affinity, and so you're going to struggle into Spirit in terms of damage. Even if you have it tuned so that you don't have to worry about the slow, you got 2 weak affinity damage dealers. So you're going to land your debuffs less often. You're going to land that HP burn less often. And when you don't land that HP burn, both Rathalos and Geo take a hit in terms of their damage production. So, the nice thing about having 2 damage dealers that are on different affinities is that you spread that out and you kind of even out the rough spots a little bit. So you're less likely to have a high damage affinity and you're less likely to have a low damage affinity. Another champion that could be a good option for you. Let me actually see. I mean, you have some interesting clan boss champions. You have Rector Drath, who could give you a perfect veil and more sustain. Sigmund has a strengthen on a 3-turn cooldown. I mean, if you didn't worry about the speed so much, you'd have some really nice 1-to-1 ratio tunes as well. Because you have a buff extender. So you can get 100% coverage. Let's see. His is on a 4-turn cooldown, right? Yeah. Yeah, so the nice thing, I'll let me show this. So this is another option, and this is also a good option just for people in general. If you do, let's just go to the boss calculator. So blank calculator. Let's say we did, let's say we did Sigmund and Gizcard and so let's say we did something like this. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying let's say we did. Okay. And we're going to do them all around. We'll just do them a little bit faster than the clan boss. We're going to have to move them around once I figure out the actual tune. No, that's not quite right. Let me think of one last thing here. I'm just thinking if there, I don't know if you have a cleanse. It's basically Elva. That's why Elva's got to be there. But okay, so I'll just kind of walk you through this anyway. It's not going to be perfect, but this is something that's good for people to see, I think. All right, so this is a speed tune, right? And what you have with Godseeker and Eerie is you have her A2, which extends buffs by a turn. So when you're looking at the calculator, you can see over here in the third column how these buffs, these blue buffs, are faded. That means they're going to drop after that turn. Like after those champions take that turn. That means when that clan boss stun goes off, those buffs won't be there. But you have 3 turn cooldowns and you have 2 turn uptimes. So for instance, like here on Sigmund, the high shield, when he does his, where is it? Did I misread his skills? Doesn't he have a strengthen? On his A3, he should have a strengthen. Why don't I see a strengthen buff? That's weird. Maybe I read it wrong. Also places a 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. It's not reading. I guess maybe the straight. I don't know if that was a buff and he didn't originally have it or something. And so it's not in the calculator. That's a little bit weird. All right. Anyway, let's do. All right. We'll do the ally protect instead. So because we have a buff extender, we can manipulate this speed tune so that we have 100% uptime. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to slow Taragi the Frog down so he's at the bottom, because we want him to extend. We want his buff to be the one that gets extended. So you don't want it being used up here at the top of the column, because that means that everybody that goes after him in that column is using one of the durations and getting no value out of it. So you want to place him at the bottom of that column. So we're going to slow him down to 191. That should put him at the bottom of the column. All right. Now, his ally protect goes off there, and you can see everybody else has it in the next column, right? He won't have the ally protect. It's the clasped hands like that. But remember that it's going up here at the bottom of column 1, which means that it would be on for the AoE 1. Now everybody has it here, and you can see that it's starting to drop off in the third column. But you can just make sure that Godseeker Aniri does her buff extension in that column, and then she'll extend it for 1 more round. So what we would want to do here is just add a delay on her A2, because right now she's using it up here before Taragi goes. So we don't want her using it up there. We just want a 1-turn delay. Now, the way you make a 1-turn delay happen in the AI in game is you just force an opener that's not that skill. So just open with the A1 or open with the A3, and that would put the A2, which is the top priority skill, on a 1-turn cooldown, because basically it's still going to be the first choice, but it's just going to have to wait 1 turn. So now we put that over here, and all of a sudden you can see that the ally protection gets extended all the way through this column. So now everybody has that buff up the entire time. And you can do that with all of the buffs. So for instance, Gizcard can also be delayed by 1 turn. I think it's on this one. Actually, what we would probably want to do in this particular case is we won't want Gizcard going second. So his shield would go up here, and then again it would be extended. It would drop off Taragi, because Taragi is going once here, twice here, 3 times here. So those are Those are the 3 turns, right? Because Gizcard goes before Taragi, unfortunately. So if Taragi is your stun target, you would just make the swap, and make Gizcard go below Taragi, and then Gizcard would lose the ally protection. That would be better. So we would actually do it like this. Let's see. Like this. Now that's not so bad because Gizcard, the sigiled, has the ally protect up for the 2 AoEs, but Taragi is going to be the stun target anyway, so who cares? Now in this particular sequence, you would also want a block debuff buff up. That's your Elva. But if you put Elva into this team, let's say we put Elva into this team here. This is no longer going to be a 1-to-1 tune. It's going to, detune. Because that speed buff is going to bounce around. So depending on where you extend it, you may be able to find a speed tune with it, but it can be tricky with one. So that's where you have to start looking at this. So again, if we do this, and let's say we just put an Elva here, and we want the 1 turn delay, and you can see it lines up. And so you have a couple of options. Moving forward. I like this speed tune. I like getting to a 2-to-1. Even if it's not unkillable, it doesn't matter. It just means more hits. So if you're going to use, say, 3 damage champions, you could use 3 damage champions with this. The one tricky thing here is that I don't think Elva can cover the slow and the stun. It looks like she's covering the stun right now. But she's not going to... Does she cover the slow? Actually, it does look like she covers the slow. No, that's Blind Seer who's covering the slow, I think. Let's say we... Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. I just changed the speed there. What's that speed? 221. No, it still looks like it's covered. So somebody might catch a stun here. But everybody's covered there. If Elva's putting it up on her A2, then everybody's covered there. Nobody will catch a stun. So yeah, it could be full affinity friendly. And it could be full auto. So this is what you could do. You could run, and again, you see the speeds, right? But if you put in the speed order, you can drop those speeds considerably. And so then you could run your Frozen Banshee, your Geomancer, and your Rathalos. And it would still tune. That could be a really fun speed tune for you. It could work really well. It could not work great. I don't know. It's not that tricky. And you're there basically, right? Like if we look at the... All you have to do is get Godseeker in area to 6 stars, right? Get her into the right gear. Now, in terms of speeds, where are you running at speed? So 162, 157. What's that? 169 and 176. So your speeds are not there, but you are, you still have progress to make on the speed boots. So just keep grinding, get the speed. Like if you can get speed boots in the speed set here, that's going to give you a nice little chunk of speed. Make sure that you are collecting your glyphs for your speed substats. Make sure you're getting speed on your banners. So, farm from those. That's going to get you anywhere between, say, 10 and 20 speed on a banner. So I think it's a reasonable sort of midterm goal. So this is the tune I would probably shoot for if you don't have an unkillable squad, which you don't, this is the speed tune I would shoot for. And it is called the White Whale Lydia, but all you have to do literally is swap out Lydia and put in Elva, and it should work perfectly. And in fact, like I said, in the calculator, you're going to put in that 19% speed aura, and that's going to drop your speeds. So I would look into that, because that feels like you could probably use the 3 damage dealers. And then if it doesn't work, all you have to do is swap out one of the damage dealers and get a defensive buff champion in there. Think about Rector Drath. Think about Gizcard. Think about Sigmund, maybe. I mean, I don't know that he's worth the legendary tomes. I probably wouldn't build him. But if you find an ally protector on a 3-turn cooldown like Taragi the Frog, think about that. And that might extend your life enough to make it worthwhile running with only 2 damage dealers. But yeah, you're basically there. So that would be the next step. That would be the next step. Any questions about Clan Boss? For right now, as you're iterating, if you're trying to move your way forward and trying to make more, get more damage and more damage, I would focus on a couple of things. One is speed. The faster your champions go, the more turns you're going to get. You've got your masteries, so that's great. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Obviously, finishing off your books on like Rathalos is going to get you more damage. Geo's fully booked, so that's not a problem. Frozen Banshee's fully booked, that's not a problem. You could potentially put, like, I have my Frozen Banshee in a Relentless set. That can help. You don't need her in Lifesteal. Get her out of this Lifesteal set. Think about getting her faster and more turns, right? Because basically once the poison sensitivity wears off, her A1s don't matter, like her damage doesn't matter. So you want that poison sensitivity to come back around as often as possible. So a Relentless set can allow you to do that. And that means then every auto attack is going to put out poisons. You can also think about getting her into revenge accessories. So if you come to your clan shop, right, you can spend some gold here on these accessories. Maybe you can get some revenge accessories for some of your damage dealers, and that can be really helpful. So that would be another one to consider. Yeah, I think that's a good tune to work for. Let's go check out your arena team. Sitting in gold 1. All right. Let's see who your speed tune is. That's an interesting team. I mean, Wukong is fantastic and Heffrak is fantastic. And Heffrak and Wukong together are really good. Yeah, it's not speed tuned. I see that. You're close to a stone skin set for Heffrak. Right, so here's the thing. I don't see a great go first team available here. I mean, the way to do it would be to, I don't know where your High Katoon is. She must be in the vault. Did you feed your High Katoon? Am I missing her? You fed your Haikatuna? Okay. Accidents happen. No problem. Yeah, I don't really see a good go first team here. That being said, you have tons of champions that could be good on a go second team. And you do have champions that could be good on a go first team, but you don't have the whole team. So the interesting thing about the team that you're running are two interesting things. One is that you have a reviver, right? So you can bring back a champion. The issue with running a reviver with Wukong is sometimes the reviver revives Wukong, which is kind of a waste of the revive, and then simultaneously Wukong doesn't then get revived with 100% turn meter. You want Wukong to come back in with 100% turn meter when he dies and comes back. The second thing that's really interesting here is Heffrak's passive. So Heffrak has this ability, which is incredible. This is the most dangerous aspect of his entire kit. Whenever an ally is killed by an enemy, instantly activates Heffrak's Scorn skill. Now that is this one here, which is an AoE, which places an extra hit on targets with less than 50% HP after the first hit. Each hit will ignore 15% of the target's defense. This is an incredibly hard-hitting skill that you get for free if somebody on your team dies. Now, having a Wukong, who is nice and squishy and can hit really hard, like you don't want a lot of defenses on this guy, but whether he's fast or slow doesn't matter that much, right? Like if he gets to go first, that's great because maybe he can remove some buffs and soften up the enemy. And then when he dies, Heffrak goes off. But there are a couple of issues with the comp, like we said. One is that Elva is kind of working against the Wukong there a little bit. I think the second thing is you don't have Stone Skin on Heffrak. You need Heffrak to live. If you're not going first, if your team isn't going first and you're hoping to activate Heffrak's passive, the other team, if they don't know what Heffrak does, they might accidentally kill your Wukong, and then that's a problem. That'd be on defense. If you're on offense, I guess you could maybe, if you're on offense, the AI is running their team. And it may not matter. You may be able to just soak up their hit. You put Wukong in front. But I would probably look to get a Stone Skin set on Heffrak.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
You might want to change your screen and check your messages. All we're seeing is the clan boss calculator, and people have been subbing and stuff, but for some reason they're not popping up again. I don't know why.
Oh boy. Okay, let me check. Sorry, folks.
If you have a separate scene where it shows your desktop, that's probably why, if you don't have those added into that scene.
I don't. I'm not showing a desktop anywhere.
I'm saying when it's showing your that browser screen.
Am I showing this? Yeah, sorry about that, folks.
Scene, or?
It's not. It's just a input. It's not a scene. Just an input I turn on and off. I have different scenes, but they're set up for different things. Hey, look at that. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, folks.
No, you didn't. That was just to troll me. I see it. I see it.
Ooh, look at that bright, shining face. That's nice. All right, sorry about that. I left you on a clan boss screen. That happens from time to time. My COVID brain's a little bit rattled here. Sorry about that, folks. All right, let me get back here to this. So basically what I was saying about this team here, you can see the team here. This is the team I've been talking about. Elva could potentially bring back Wukong at a bad moment, not letting Wukong's passive proc, which is really what you want. And then Hefrak, you want somebody to die, right? So you don't mind going slow. But then Hefrak needs to live. If Hefrak gets nuked out, then you don't have an option there. He's not going to do anything. So I don't really know. I'm trying to think of the way to fix this. So on offense, like I know I would know how to fix it on defense, but how do you fix it on offense? I've got an idea. Got an idea. All right, I got it. Let's do this. Okay, here's a simple speed tune to get into. Okay, it's not going to take a lot. We want to get your Ilfrig going. Now, Ilfrig has this skill. Sorry, it's the A3. Fills turn meter of all allies by 15% and places an increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. So this is really nice. Now, this is going to allow you to maybe get a go first team going. Now, Ilfrig should be your fastest champion. He has a base speed of 100 here at 4 stars. I think if you upgrade him to 6 stars, eventually, you don't have to rush it. But I think he gets additional speed. Like 5 speed or 3 speed. No, he doesn't. Okay, so he's running as fast as he needs to, basically, or as he can. So you can do this. You can get Ilfrig to 260, 280 speed. And then you can, if you can get him to be your fastest champion, he can increase the attack of both Wukong and your Hefrak. So, the downside of this is like they need to be fast. It's still tough. It's still tough. I mean, Elva's she's a speed buff champion, but not an increased turn meter champion. Let me see if there's any other increased turn meter champion. I don't think there is. You have Golden Reaper. All right. All right, so Golden Reaper is a really nice arena champion. Where is she? Up here, right? There she is. Okay. So she has this increase speed buff on all allies for 2 turns and boosts their turn meter by 20%. She also has a really nice base speed. So at 6 stars, she runs at 111, or even here, she's running at 104. So you could do. You could do this. So as far as speed tunes are concerned, this would probably be the easiest. You have Wukong as your speed lead. That gives you that 28% speed aura. Golden Reaper will be your fastest champion. She's going to give the 20% increase turn meter to everybody, plus the speed buff. Eelfrig is next. He's going to give the increased turn meter to everybody, plus 15% plus increased attack. Wukong is third in terms of turn order. He does a buff strip and the mini nuke with his A3. And then you have Hefrak clean up with his A2, I think it is. So this would actually be a very nice go first team. Would work really well. You got 2 nukers. You don't have a decreased defense, but you have a buff strip and a secondary nuker. If you don't have decreased defense, sometimes that's okay. Right? Sometimes you don't need the decreased defense if you have 2 nukers. And basically, Wukong is going to hit as hard as a nuker, even though he needs accuracy to strip buffs. So this could be a team that would work really well. And the way that this would kind of roll out would be, let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah. So you're getting 35% turn meter fill from the 2 champions. So let's say you were running Golden Reaper at 280. You do 280 and divide that by 1.2 because she gives a 20% turn meter fill. And so that means Eelfrig needs to run at 233, actually 234. And so then you would have, let's see, 280 divided by 1.35. And so your nukers would have to run around 208. 209 and 208. That's doable. It seems pretty fast right now. And so one of the things I think that you need to do on your champions is just start focusing on speed, because the clan boss speed tune that we were talking about, it's going to require a lot more speed. And the arena speed tune that we're talking about is going to require a lot more speed. The other option, if you can't get that speed, like I said, is to keep them slow in the arena and just put Hefrak in a stone skin set. So when Wukong dies, Hefrak will automatically get his passive. And then if Hefrak lives long enough, Wukong will come back and then you get 2 additional nukes. And that could be really strong. But Stone Skin's a little bit tricky to get. You have to get it from Hydra, obviously. So that is, a little bit of an issue. Yeah. Okay. So let's just see about speed for a second. Wukong's running at 198. That's not bad at all. Yeah, sometimes if you don't have the damage in Stone Skin, that can be an issue. But remember here, you're running 2 nukers. So the idea would be Wukong dies, Hefrak hits, Wukong comes back, Wukong hits. Right? That would be the goal. Hefrak just needs to live long enough so that when Wukong dies, Hevrak has the skill, but still lives long enough for Wukong to get respawned. You know, and you could put in, you could put in a tank, you could put in a Scylla of the Drakes in the back there to just like make sure that people are surviving. Or maybe a Sigmund the High. Like you could put in Rector Draft, you could put in a Godseeker and Neri to get the second passive revive. Like there are ways you could experiment with it to see what you needed to make sure that the combo worked. Right? The weird thing is you're on offense. You're on offense, but you're running a go second team that requires that somebody die. Like it's a bit of a strange concept. So you're going to have to experiment a little bit with the different champions to see who you can get to work. You know, you could go with 3 nuke. You could just be like, all right, Hefrak is the setup. You know, go Wukong, Hefrak, Magnar, and I don't know, Godseeker. And just be like, I get hit, it's fine. Godseeker comes back, revives, you know, Hefrak, Wukong comes back, whatever. I mean, I don't know. You'd have to mess around with it, see what works well. But a reviver on this team, I mean, you know, we said it was weird with Sun Wukong, and it is. And Elva may be okay. Maybe Elva works well enough. She's kind of like a Scylla of the Drakes anyway, so just keep her in. But the question becomes, you know, do you want the speed aura? Do you have another aura that you can use? You don't really. You know, it's the Rathalos aura, I think. But that's in dungeons. I'm trying to think if there's a damage aura that you could use. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this Hefrak into a better build. Mm. Just thinking about if we can get any ignore defense on this champion, or if we should go, you know, just crit damage. Hmm. Yeah, I don't see it quite there yet. This is another champion you can think about in the future. She places a decreased speed, but also she can turn the turn meter of the enemy back 3 times. She needs high accuracy to land that. But she's also sort of she hits decently hard, so she kind of has another, she does the same thing that Wukong does, where she kind of softens up the enemy so that your nuker doesn't have as tough a job. I mean, you have an AoE weakened champion, but I don't think that's better. Yeah, so I think potentially you can build a go first and a go second team out of sort of the same champions. Right? Like Hefrak and Wukong should be your 2 damage dealers. They're 2 god tier damage dealers. They're different affinities. They're going to work well off each other. The passives work great together. Like these 2 champions belong in the same team together. They are a great choice. So I think just figuring out how to put the team around them to get the most value, and a go first team would be something like this, right? Which is just like, let's use their power to blow things up. And a go second team doesn't have to necessarily go second, right? Like you can still work off of Wukong's passive, and if you happen to go first, you just soften up the enemy team that way. That's fine. But in that particular case, I think again, you can look for a Wukong led and Hefrak led team, but then maybe now you're doing something like this. You're going very survivable. You want a lot of turns. You want to make sure Hefrak comes back, and you can just wait to get him in a stone skin. If you can get him in a stone skin, you try him that way. You could do this. This could be really effective because you've got that extra AoE stun. You could do this. You've got those 2 tough, durable revivers. You could do this. Same thing. Extra heals, extra survivability. And then it's just like if Wukong dies over and over and over again, but Hefrak never goes down, Hefrak will cycle back around to his passive, get it the next time Wukong goes down, and you can kind of whittle away teams that way. So those are some options. I kind of like, just because of where you are, I kind of like this one. We already want to build a Neri for the clan boss team. So, this would be getting more value, like another place of value out of the same champion that you're building anyway. So, you could try something like this. Let's see if we can okay, so Wukong goes first. Probably with this team, what we want to do is convert their Wukong. Okay, Wukong's not hitting very hard. So I think with Aniri and a nice tanky build here, this works well, right? Because you can see Elva's not going down. Of course, we're not really getting through their defenses either. We're not hitting hard enough. But this is sort of the concept behind the team. You know, if we have Godseeker and Neri who's up, like this is going to keep working the same way. So it's basically the comp that you have, right? But the idea is to make sure that Hefrak's always available to use his passive when Wukong dies. And Wukong will die a lot. It's not fast. And they are the passive from Hefrick finally fires and nukes out the team. You know, so I think that probably is option number one, because it's going to take the fewest resources to build that team. Right? All you need to do is get Godseeker to a place where you want her for clan boss anyway. Right? You're going to get her nice and tanky. Maybe you get her in a Guardian set. Maybe you get her in a shield set. Put her in a shield set, maybe. I don't know. Shield set kind of negates the chances of Wukong dying. Maybe that's not great. I don't know. But get her in a set where she's nice and tanky. And now those two revivers will just bring back these two damage dealers over and over and over again. And eventually, Hefrak's going to get his passive. And that passive is going to give you an extra nuke in the cycle. So that feels pretty good to me. It's not fast. If you want a fast team, you need to go with something like this team here. Because this is going to go first with the buff, into the buff strip nuke with Wukong, into the nuke with Hefrak. Enemy team is dead. The problem is that it's always a speed race. And you have a good speed aura, but everybody has that speed aura right now. You know, and Golden Reaper is fast. She is fast, but it's only 35% turn meter fill between the two champions, which requires your nukers to go at, what would we say, 208 and 209, which is pretty fast. You know, if you're running Golden Reaper at 280. And as she gets faster, if she gets up to 300, now you're talking about running your nukers at, 225, 230, which can be tricky. But this will get you out of gold 1. Either one of these teams will get you out of gold 1, as long as you're consistent with it and you start to build around it a little bit. And then again, like I said, if in the future you get that stone skin set that you can get on Hefrak, that alleviates a lot of pressure. And because you have a Hefrak, you will make points on defense. You will actually get promoted on defense because people walk into Hefrak teams and Hefrak nukes. You know, if he's in stone skin, he solos teams. So that, I think, is a pretty good option for you as a defensive squad as well. And for Wukong, just like as a build suggestion, I actually like the build. I like the accuracy level. 350 is great for him for arena. That's going to be plenty all the way up to, gold 5. The only thing is you don't have crit rate here. So get him out of attack percentage gloves. If you can get him into crit rate percentage gloves, get him to 100% crit rate. Even if the crit damage is floating around 130, whatever, that's fine. That's fine. Make sure that every hit is a crit, though. If it's not going to be a weak hit. So get him there. You can get him into better crit damage amulet in the future. That'll get that up to 33% instead of 25%. Maybe you can get a little extra accuracy out of that. Same thing here with the banner. You can get some more speed on him. Again, he's not slow. It's 198, but you're going to need another 10 or 15 speed on him to get him speed tuned to where you're going to want him to be. So that's what I would look for that. By the way, this attack percentage glove is not bad. I know you're doing the best with what you got, so don't feel bad about that. That can be a nice option. You know, you maybe don't even need the 350 accuracy. Like maybe 300 is enough. So if you get into a 5-star accuracy banner, you can take them out of the accuracy chess piece, get them into an attack percentage chess piece. You know, maybe something with a crit rate substat on it. And that's going to get you to your 100% crit rate with the crit rate gloves. And, you know, you're not going to lose any attack, because when you swap this attack percentage out, you'll replace it with the chess piece. So that's probably what I would look to do in the future. All right. So any questions about the arena team? You're using the gloves for accuracy. Yeah, that's understandable. Honestly, you're doing the right things. I mean, it's going to be incremental, but it's good to have a plan. You know, it's good to say, I can envision this team, which is good for now, but is not enough. I can evolve it. I can imagine evolving into a team which is enough with small changes. You're a free-to-play account. I know this is a free-to-play account, so you know the goal is to do it with the fewest expended resources as you can, so get the most value out of the fewest resources. And so that's why I think like Godseeker and Neri potentially can help you in both places. And that would be just one champion to run up, you know, from a 5-star to a 6-star. Is she already booked? She's mostly booked. So you still have some, she's half booked. She's about half booked. So, but she's so strong. And the great thing about this champion, and this is another thing to think from that free-to-play mentality, is if you can get that 2-to-1 Elva team going, that's great. But Godseeker can also form like a component of a lot of different clan boss teams. That buff extension that she offers on her A2, I think it is, increases duration of all buffs, can be utilized with a lot of different comps. So she's really good in clan boss. She provides sustain, and then she provides that buff extension. So you were very welcome, Darth. I'm glad it was helpful. Sorry about the mess up with the clan boss page there. But yeah, I think this is probably your next 6-star. You know, she's going to help you in those two places if that's what you want. You know, there are other worthwhile 6-stars. I'm not saying there aren't, but it sounds like she's going to help you in both places. And you've got a clan boss speed tune to look for, and two at least. You know, arena speed tunes. One's a go first, one's a go second. But yeah, you get that go second going, and then worry about the go first down the line. You know, Golden Reaper is really nice. How close are you on the Arbiter? You're not that far away. You're 49 missions away. And obviously you have to get the affinity bonuses up. You know, that's probably going to be the toughest thing for where you are. You can probably do all the other ones relatively easily. I don't think you're going to have a problem with the dungeons. You may not, I don't know if you're at stage 20 with every dungeon yet, but you know, so if you want to be patient, you know, and wait for Arbiter, you could, but honestly, like Arbiter is going to replace Ilfrig. You could run Ilfrig in a speed tune at level 40. If you can get him fast enough without a banner, I mean, you're only giving up about, 15, 20 speed there. If you can get him fast enough without a banner, if you can get Golden Reaper fast enough without a banner, you can run 240s there. That just works even better with Hefrak, because it's like, if the enemy team gets a turn, they're going to nuke out your level 40s. Your level 40s are going to die. Hefrak's just going to return the nuke. So I think it's a good way to go, to also try the go first team, just to have an optional thing to switch back and forth. Yeah. All right. So that is it for now. Definitely give me an update. Let me know how you're progressing. If you need help with that clan boss speed tune at all, it's a speed tune I would love to work on. I originally, when I got my Elva, I thought I was going to make that speed tune. There was a glitch in the calculator. It looks like they fixed it, which is great. And so, yeah. So I'd be interested in seeing how that clan boss speed tune works out for you. Yeah, sounds great. Sounds great. All right, son. I think we are ready for round 2. Sorry, my COVID brain is a little bit, I'm a little bit out of it. A little bit out of it. But that was fun. That was fun. It's always great to see a new versus pro account too. Okay. So do we want to reset the wheel of Takeover? You ready to do that? Did Sun escape somewhere? Let me see. Your mic's not working? Okay. All right, so the wheel of Takeover is reset. So go ahead, if you're looking for a free Takeover, go ahead and sign up. Remember, got to join our Discord community. You will find an area called the Coaching Corner. In the Coaching Corner, there is a channel called the Wheel of Takeover. All you have to do is react to that wheel. Sun has a message down there. You don't need to type anything, just react to that. That'll enter your name into the drawing. Remember, you can only win once every 90 days. So if you have won already in 2024, you are not eligible. But if you won back in 2023 or you never won before, you are eligible. Go ahead and sign up. We will spin it. You want to make sure that you have your email address available. You want to have your password ready to go. As soon as you win, you want to DM me those 2 pieces of information in the Discord so I can start the login process and keep the stream moving along. And then also DM me whatever it is you'd like me to do on the account. Make sure you jump into the coaching voice so you can hear me in real time. You don't have to worry about the delay, although Sun says he's basically fixed that. And then we'll see what we can do for your account. And hopefully I won't mess up and leave everybody in the Clan Boss calculator for like 10 minutes while I'm talking about something else. But you never know. Might happen, might not. I mean, this is a channel of trolls, right? Maybe it happens on purpose. Who knows? Who knows?
Hey, now you're getting it.
There you go. There's your microphone working.
Yep. Gotta love it.
Time to get a new headset.
I know what it was. It was my fault.
All right, we'll give it 1 more minute for the reactions. Oh, I'm stiff. By the way, the Clan Week reset. So everybody should go out there and grab their clan quests. I always forget to do that until the end of the week. All right. Last chance for a reaction. Gonna give it 20 more seconds. Doing it live, says Dark. Yep. Channel of trolls. Soapbox. Was I in my soapbox? Roberto says, thanks for the Masteries video. You're welcome. Glad it helped. Yeah, that is something I should have mentioned to Darth. You're right. If you are building your Godseeker Aniri for the Sand Devil's Necropolis, if that's the purpose of her, then you might want to leave her A3 with 1 fewer book. So that is something that, you know, I did a guide on the Sand Devil's Necropolis levels 1 through 25 using Selenia and Godseeker Aniri. The thing with that video and that build is that my Godseeker Aniri was already fully booked. So that's how I had to do it. It's actually easier to do it if you have one fewer book on Godseeker and Erie's revive, and then your DPS doesn't need to live. Then your DPS can just die every time. And so you don't have to build all those defensive stats onto your DPS. So if you are saving your, if you are saving your Godseeker and Erie for that purpose, then you would want to try to not book the revive, which may mean that you have to avoid booking other things. The problem is you do need the passive. I think you need the passive fully booked. I think you need the passive fully booked. Yeah, so like Bryce is saying, sometimes you can't do it though because the books are random. So it's like you can do it. You can do it if you can't always get the right combination for two skills, right? You can always force it for one because you can just stop when you hit the book that you need. But in terms of the overall progression, it may be that just Clan Boss and Arena is more important than Sand Devil's Necropolis. And when you get to Sand Devil's Necropolis, you try the build that I have on my account, which is with the fully booked Godseeker and Eerie. It's a little bit harder to do. It's a little bit slower to do. But, you know, once you get to that point in the game where it becomes relevant for you, you just do what you got to do. All right, let's go ahead and spin that wheel. Let's get this second takeover going. Yeah, so the way it works is that, you know, there's a certain cycle, like the boss takes so many turns and you take so many turns, and her active revive actually comes up faster than the cycle. So what that means is she would revive the champion before they needed to be revived. By not putting a book into the revive, you have that extra cooldown, and so now she revives on the cycle. Basically, that's why. You would just, like, otherwise she revives too fast, and if she revives too fast, things die when they're not supposed to. We got Lugia 345?
Lugia.
Okay. Hey, Jim, how you doing? So we got Lugia or Lugia. All right, we got a DM here coming in. Just send me your login info and we will get this party started. Right? We'll get this party started quickly. You think it's Lugia? It has to be the email address for the account and the password. So not the user ID. Okay. All right. You want a gear cleanse? Okay. We don't do that many gear cleanse takeovers. We do a few of them. Gear cleanse? Did I say gear cleanse? Gear cleanse. Okay. So account level 91. We are far into the team. All right. Let's look at the roster. You have your Mithrala. We're looking at 40, 50, 57, 58, 58 6 stars. We've even got a mythic here with Mezamel. Very nice. You've got your Newt. Excellent. Your Newt needs to be fully ascended, by the way. You want these extra pieces on your Newt. Newt is so incredibly strong. You've got a Nemec. That's fantastic. Got your Emic Maneater. That makes Clan Boss very easy with Fane as well. Yeah, it's a nice roster. You got your Geo, Deacon. Kemptum is very nice. Got your Lady Annabelle for Bommel. That'll come up in a month. Yeah, with all this stuff going on, it can be hard to get into the potion keeps. Absolutely. Right now, yeah, I mean, you've got your Carl. Got a lot of really good champions. Supreme Athel. Do you have 2 Yoshis? Is that what I saw? No, it's a Shamrock. Okay. All right, gear cleanse. Let's look at the gear cleanse. So a lot of stuff that you don't need, you say. Okay. So we're going to try to work through this pretty quickly. I'm going to do as much of a gear cleanse as I can manage, but a lot of it's just going to be around kind of explaining how I think about gear cleanses. So not just doing the gear. Obviously, you have almost 1,300 pieces here, but like, you can come through and also do a little bit more of your own gear cleanse. So one thing that I might do is I might look for, before I get into each individual set, I might look for sets where you're not likely to use pieces unless they're off pieces. And Fury is a set like this. So Fury damage increases as HP decreases. If you have specific champions that you want to use this on, if for instance you wanted one for Zinogre, like because she has a passive that might synergize well with this, then you can think about building that. But I honestly think that this set is a relatively weak set. I don't like this set. I don't really put this set on anybody. So what I would do is I would only hold perfect pieces. And a perfect piece has to roll right as well. So typically, like, you're going to need crit rate and crit damage. You're running Unkillable with Emic and Maneater. You may still get just more damage out of a Savage set. But yeah, so if you need like 1 or 2 of these sets, but you have a lot of pieces here and you have a lot of 5-star pieces. So I would only keep 5-star pieces that are really valuable. Now, again, this is a damage set, and this is going to be true for any damage set. Damage set needs to have crit rate. Almost always it needs to have crit rate, because you have very few champions where you can just get away from like the need for crit rate. So what I would probably do is just start selling the 5-star pieces, especially if they don't have crit rate. Even speed, accuracy, and crit damage. Like, this is a weird piece, right? Let me redo this camera here, because this always happens during gear cleanse. I want people to be able to see the stat. Okay, so this is a weird piece. Speed, accuracy, and crit damage. Speed and accuracy are great. Right? Together, they work really well for support champions. But it's a bad set for a support champion. This is a damage dealing set, which means you need crit rate. Without crit rate, who cares about the crit damage? So it's also a 5-star piece. If it was a 6-star piece, maybe you roll it up and see where it rolls. But, again, all these 5-star pieces, if they don't have crit rate, I'm probably getting rid of them. So I'm just checking the 5-star pieces right now. Defense percentage gloves, that's not a damaged glove, right? So, no. Well, I'm not going to take your 6-star pieces just now. No crit rate. That's flat HP, so that's gone. Accuracy, nope. If it's a damage set, if you're keeping it specifically for doing damage, you almost absolutely have to have crit rate. The only time you can get away without, like, you could get away with one piece maybe that doesn't have crit rate if you have a champion who has, only a need for 70% crit rate or 85% crit rate or something like that, where they get an extra crit rate bonus for some reason. But this is a set where I feel really comfortable throwing away a lot of pieces because it's not a highly valuable set. And what you'll find is this is a nice piece. This is a really nice piece. That can go. What you'll also find is like the idea of some sets are better in theory than the way they work when you actually proc them. So like the amount of damage you get as an increase here, right, will be mitigated by the fact that one, maybe it's not as much damage as another set like a Savage set. Okay. Two, it's hard to control what your HP level is. So if you're always constantly running at like 30 to 40% HP, are you getting enough value out of this set? And I forget exactly. I used to know exactly how this set works. I forget where it maxes out. Now I'm going to look for other sets like that. So let's look for another set. Maybe if there's a set where you're holding on to stuff you don't need to be holding on to. Toxic, it might be one of them. This is another set where you don't use them that often. If you want to use a toxic set, there are typically two places you use a toxic set. You use toxic set on a clan boss champion that doesn't do a lot of damage on their own, like a support champion, and you need to get some extra clan boss damage out there. You need to get some extra damage onto the clan boss team. So in that case, you're looking for the stats you would use for a support. So typically either accuracy and speed for a debuffer, or maybe survivability stats. Now, the second place you're looking for a toxic set is on a solo champion. A solo champion that needs to do extra damage because solo champions are about survival and you have a very survivable champion, but you don't do a ton of damage like a Strategos Islan. If you're running Strategos Islan as a solo champion, you might want to put a toxic set on that champion. Again, in that case, what do you need? You need speed, you might need accuracy, and you need survivability. Do you need crit rate and crit damage? No, but does it hurt? No. So, you know, again, when I'm looking at this toxic piece, it's like, this is a 6-star legendary piece, but it has no speed and it has no accuracy. And you're like, well, toxic set doesn't require accuracy, right? It's like, yeah, but who are you going to put it on? Does the champion that you put this set on require accuracy for their skills? Not because the poisons here don't require accuracy, but does the champion require accuracy? You know, so like this is better because it has speed. That's decent crit rate, crit damage, but you know, this is probably a trap set. I don't know who you're going to end up putting this on. This probably doesn't go on anybody. You know, so again, I'm going to start selling 5-star pieces here. You can decide on the 6-star pieces. Like this is a better piece. Speed, resistance, HP, right? Because it's like, oh, I might put that on a cleanser. I might put that on a healer or a reviver if I'm trying to get some extra damage out on clan boss. This could go on a Godseeker and Eerie, right? Like potentially. So that is viable there. Whereas this piece is really, really tricky to put on anybody. It doesn't have speed. It doesn't have accuracy. And what damage dealer are you going to want in a toxic set? Typically your damage dealers, you want them in Savage, or you want them in Cruel, or you want them in, you know, crit damage. So again, could be a trap piece. This piece is gone. Don't need that. All right, so now let's just start looking at the 5-star pieces. No. That's a nice piece, but again, that would go on a damage. I don't see that in toxic. Like if this were in another set, if you just wanted to hold on to it because you're like, well, it might be an off piece for somebody. Maybe. If it were 6 stars, yes. But for where you are on your account, 5-star pieces that aren't perfect in sets like this need to go. They need to go. This is not like you're too far advanced to be holding on to that. This is okay. I mean, it's got survivability. I would prefer like resistance or accuracy with the HP percentage, but we'll hold on to that. This one, this is a perfect piece. This is literally a perfect piece. So at this point, you would say even at 5 stars, I might hold this. But what we should do, actually, we'll go ahead and sell those, is we should roll this one up. Now, what it needs to do is it needs to give us all 3 rolls probably into speed and accuracy. If it goes 1, 1, 1, it's probably not usable for where you are in your account. Right? It's a 5-star piece. Yeah. So if this were a 6-star piece, maybe you hold on to it. If it were a legendary, maybe you roll again and get, another roll into speed or something. But this is not really a great piece for you where you are. So again, 5-star pieces, you got to be a little bit more just cutthroat about. Attack percentage gloves go on bomb champions, so we don't need them here. Crit damage gloves, okay. I mean, maybe I don't need to get rid of all of your gloves. So speed, accuracy, speed and accuracy, I'll leave those two. So, what I like to do whenever I'm doing a gear cleanse is I try to envision the champion that the piece would go on and how likely that champion would be to run that piece or that set. So, for instance, if I'm looking in a stun set, I'm like, what are the stats that, 1, help the stun set, but 2, that help the champion that's likely to wear the stun set? Right? So if I'm like, I'm going to put this on a Sylar. Right, let's say I'm going to put a stun set on a Sylar. She's a great champion for a stun set. She has an AoE A1 and AoE A2. I think it's an A2 or it might be the A3. She has 100% decreased speed, AoE. Actually, it's at 100%. Let me just look. So now this might not be the champion you envision, but this is what I'm saying. Like you try to look for a champion. You're like, who am I going to put in this stun set? And so let's say I have Sylar, right? So this is the champion. AoE A1. AoE A2, decrease speed, turn meter decrease. So to land the decrease speed and the turn meter decrease, she needs accuracy. In order to make it viable that she's on the team at all, she needs to be fast because you need to land this before the enemy goes. So you need speed and accuracy. You don't really care about the damage. You're putting her in a stun set. So crit rate and crit damage don't matter. She's a support-based champion anyway. She doesn't hit really hard. But she needs accuracy for her kit, and she needs speed for her kit and for the stun set. Survivability would be a plus because she's a support. You want her to always be available. You want to be able to take a couple of hits. And then damage is only at the very end. So again, if I go back to the stun set that I'm looking at, and I envision this champion or another champion like this, like what do I need on stun sets? Well, I need speed and accuracy. This one's got accuracy. That's it. No speed. The other stats there's some survivability stats and crit damage. It's not awful. It's definitely not awful. It's worth, speculating on, but probably without a speed substat, not as good. All right. So now I've got these two. Which one's better? Well, the legendary. Why? Because it's got accuracy. Accuracy is more likely. If I take away the accuracy, now all I've got is a little bit of survivability and some crit damage. If you're going to hold on to this piece, you want to roll it right away. You don't want to speculate on this piece. You don't need it in your inventory. We rolled in a crit damage on the first roll, it gets sold. Because we don't care about crit damage. First of all, crit damage with no crit rate doesn't do us any good. And second of all, the champion it's likely to go on is probably not a huge hitting damage dealer. Now, maybe your vision is not Sylar, maybe it's Skullcrown. Maybe you're like, well, Skullcrown has an AoE A1 and an AoE 2, and she is a damage dealer. And I still want to have her in a stun set, but I want her to do extra damage and hit hard too. Great, fine. Crit rate. You have to have crit rate. Right here we've got HP, attack, resistance. Who does this go on? It doesn't go on Sylar because no speed, no accuracy, and it doesn't go on Skullcrown because no crit rate, no crit damage. So this piece is almost useless. Could you put it on? You could put it on maybe an Artac. Maybe you could put it on an Artac, but the problem with Artac is he doesn't just need HP. He also needs accuracy. He also needs speed. So he's like Sylar, but more. He needs more stats than she does, right? She needs just speed and accuracy. He needs speed, accuracy, and HP, right? So I don't see this going on anybody. I can't envision a champion where this goes on that champion, no matter how it rolls. And if it's marginal, you want to roll it to C. You want to at least roll it to see if it's going to fit the champion that you're trying to go for. Now, this one, this is real borderline. Crit rate, crit damage, HP. Could go on Artac. Could go on some kind of slightly tankier, damage dealing AoE champion. Like, maybe. But this is then worth rolling up. Now the problem with this is if we are putting on Artac, I don't know, it could roll anywhere and it'd probably be fine. Like, it's a little bit of a trap piece, so I don't even want to roll it. This is a beautiful piece. Speed, accuracy, resistance, HP, utterly gorgeous, right? You could put this on a Sylar. You could put this on a Anchorite. This would go great on an Anchorite. You could put this on... This could go on a Deliana. This could go on... Like this... Yeah. Now, somebody with resist might be like, it might be a cleanser, might be better. Again, so that's why I was thinking like Anchorite's kind of got that mini cleanse. Maybe this goes on... I don't know. I can actually envision a few champions for this. So this is one I would definitely roll up and, see. Okay. I'm not going to get rid of defense percentage gauntlets because those can be good, even though it doesn't have any good substats. Right now, you don't have that many pieces. And if you need to flesh out a set, that's what you're going to have to do. Same thing with the boots. Like, these boots should go as soon as you can replace them. But okay, so we did, a little bit of a gear cleanse there, stun, toxic. Now, retaliation is a little bit more versatile because it can go on a debuffer. It could go on a healer. It could go on a damage dealer. So you do still want to have a vision for who it's going to go on. And again, based on where you are, 5-star gear needs to really hit in order to justify a spot in your storage. Who does this roll onto? No crit rate, no accuracy, no speed, only resistance. So this would have to go on to probably a cleanser. Now, in order to go onto a cleanser, you have to get at least a double roll into resistance, or it doesn't make any sense. All right, so we hit resistance. And so now you're not speculating. Now you know that that's not going to be good for anybody. Right? It's not good for a cleanser. It's not good for a reviver. It's not good for a fast champion. It's not good for a damage dealer. This is potentially a really nice piece. Speed, defense, and accuracy are all great. You don't want to waste rolls on crit damage here. So if we could get speed a couple of times, if we could get accuracy, or even if we went speed, accuracy, and defense, that might not be bad. All right, the crit damage roll is just bad. Now it is a legendary, but it's a 5-star. Do I want to roll it all the way up to 16, speculatively? Probably not. But I might hold on to it just because I don't have a better piece anywhere. It's the only one with speed. Let's roll it up again. Let's see if we land in speed or accuracy. Defense. Yeah, it's turning out to be real marginal. So this could go. The gloves. Attack percent gloves generally just go. Crit damage gloves without crit rate substats are really tricky. You can hold on to one or two. This would be the one that you would, potentially want to hold on to, is the one with the speed on it. And it's got attack percentage, HP percentage, so good substats. Let's look at the curing set. Okay, so right. Every piece can probably go in the curing set. I run curing on like 2 champions. There are very few champions where curing is better than something else, either more survivability, more speed, or more resistance. So this is a set, like, again, can you envision a champion that this goes on to? I used to run Scylla the Drakes in a curing set. It's not worth it. Like 20% bonus heal to a 10% heal is a 2% heal. I could put her in for the same 4 pieces. I could get her 20% extra defense and 20% extra HP from 2 resilience sets. That's not even a good set, but that makes her significantly more survivable. And her survivability is just as important as her heal. So it's like that 20% bonus heal is not huge. Now, there are some healers who heal huge amounts and a bonus heal matters. You can potentially think about healers like that. Like maybe, I don't know, Skytouch Shaman or something. But I think about Apothecary. Where's Apothecary's value? Well, not necessarily just his heal, it's his speed. So 4 speed pieces are going to give him like 25, 26 additional speed. That's going to get you as many heals as this 20% extra bonus heal. So, plus overheals get lost, right? Like, so if it would be inefficient that way. I literally don't carry any pieces except absolutely perfect pieces here. So like 5-star pieces just get tossed. Like this should have never made it to the inventory. Like in the future, it should never make it to the inventory. Right? The only boot worth holding on to is either going to be an HP percentage boot or a speed boot, and it should be 6 stars in either case. So, same thing like this. Like this gauntlet, it's flat HP. Now, when it comes to broken pieces, people will say, well, maybe it's good as a broken piece. Yeah. But for where you are on your account, a broken piece should be a 6-star. Right? It should still be perfect for somebody as a broken piece. This isn't perfect. It isn't perfect as a broken piece, and it isn't perfect in the set. So are you holding on to it because you just don't have another gauntlet? Okay. Who's it going to go on? That's always the question, right? Cruel is a damage dealing set. Without crit rate as a substat, it's almost useless. That one can go. That one can go. You want 6-star pieces. 5-star pieces need to be perfect. This is perfect. That's a perfect 5-star piece. So that deserves to be there. But again, where'd it go? Here. We can roll this up. We're going to need at least 1 drop in a crit rate. Hopefully. If we got a triple roll in a speed, that'd be okay. If this rolls 111, it's maybe marginal. So unfortunately, it rolled the wrong way. And I would say that's not a great piece anymore. Especially because you have that. Like, when are you going to use this 5-star piece? Like, it's going to take a while. Crit rate 14%. That's nothing to sneeze at. This feels pretty marginal. Same thing here. Pretty marginal. Double roll into speed. This one got rolled up, but probably shouldn't have made it to the inventory. Right? No crit rate. No crit rate. Cruel pieces don't go on champions that aren't damage dealers, and they have to be attack-based damage dealers. Frostbite set. Okay. You have a lot of relentless gear. You have a lot of relentless gear, which is great to have options, but that means you don't need to hold as many pieces. So you can just hold good pieces. So for your 5-star pieces, if they don't have speed on them, right? When you're trying to get extra turns, that means even speed isn't enough. It doesn't mean you don't need speed. It means even speed by itself isn't enough. You want all the speed you can get, plus you want extra turns on top of the speed that you can get. So to hold on to 5-star pieces that don't have speed on them, right? That's probably it'll never get used. This is great, right? Because remember, sometimes you're trying to get extra turns on people who don't deal damage, and sometimes you're trying to get extra turns on damage dealers. So it's like this is going to get you a lot of extra turns. That's 19 speed, triple speed roll. Sorry, it's over here. You know, so I almost don't care about the other stats. So that's a great piece. But these 3 can go. And you can do the same with, you know, the helmets. No speed, there's speed, there's speed, no speed. Yep. Nope. Yep. Nope. 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 Right. And I don't feel bad about throwing out these pieces because look how many pieces you have. You know, so you're not going to gear 20 champions in Relentless. So marginal pieces can go. I know it feels bad getting rid of special sets sometimes. Like we get a little bit too, like our anxiety, like, oh, but it's a really hard set to get. I get it. It's a really hard set to get. But you've got really good pieces. Like if we look at the helmets that you're holding on to, let's check out what you've got. You've got a level 16. Probably would have rolled that one. Or that one. Maybe that one. That one's pretty good. It's okay. That one's okay. This one's bad. Should be probably tossed. Here, double speed roll. Nice. Crit rate accuracy. Not too bad. It's not too bad. Here's speed. Speed. Triple speed. There's more speed. So, you know, you got enough pieces to roll up now. Don't feel bad about throwing away trash pieces just because the set is hard to get. Like if it just sits here because, you know, you're like, well, maybe someday I'll use it. It's like, again, envision a champion. Envision a champion and what stats they need for that set. That's a really nice piece. Accuracy and speed on a crit rate gauntlet. You're like, okay, crit damage would have been nice as a substat there. Maybe it doesn't go on a damage dealer, or maybe it does. Maybe it goes on somebody like Allure, right? Like Allure in a Relentless set is great. Get Allure into a Relentless set. Get her fast, get her accurate, get her 100% crit rate. This could be perfect for Allure. In fact, let's just roll this. We want speed and accuracy here. So far, so good. Let's try one more. Beautiful. Right? So now this is a good piece no matter what. Like you're going to take that up to 16 when you're ready. It's going to give you, 60% crit rate. Is that what it gives us? Yeah, 60% crit rate. Just alleviates the burden. Again, you could put it on a damage dealer, or you could leave this on a support champion who needs crit rate. Or you could just, find somebody in Relentless who needs to go fast, and it doesn't matter that it's crit rate. So you've got options. This is a nice chess piece. This is not. That's not either. Pretty weak. It's okay. It's okay. It's good. That's pretty weak. Not great. Not great. Boots and Relentless set almost always have to be speed. Sometimes you can get away with percentage boots if if they're for damage dealers. But you still typically need like speed as a substat. So, boots can be a little bit tricky. We get caught in that stuff. Savage set is actually really easy. You need crit rate. If you don't have crit rate, doesn't like most of these need to go. It's unfortunate I get pieces like this all the time. This is a 5-star piece. It's a legendary, and it's got crit damage, and it's got nice substats, but without crit rate, it's almost unusable. So again, if you can envision a champion for it, but these two I'm going to sell. You already have 6 of those shields with crit damage and speed. It's like, how many champions are you going to have that are likely going to land that stuff or need that same kind of setup? All right, let's look at some other sets. Reflex needs speed. It's like Relentless, right? Without speed, what's the use? Divine Speed, every piece should have speed as a substat. If it doesn't have speed as a substat, it should go. All right, well done. Looks like every piece has the gauntlets. I understand. Sometimes you hold one extra because it's like, well, it's the only piece that fits that spot. So maybe I could find value in it. But again, here I would probably roll all these pieces. Make sure you land at least a single or double roll into speed in all of these pieces, or it's probably not worth holding on to. Swift Parry is going to be a lot like Cruel. Or maybe not Cruel. Maybe it's more like Savage. It can go on an HP based champion. It can go on a defense based champion, but it's always going to go on a damage dealer. You don't run this set for speed, right? You're not going to put this on a debuffer just because you need extra speed on the debuffer. It's not bringing the accuracy that you need, and it's giving you crit damage, which you don't need. So, the idea here is you're primarily going to put this on a damage dealer. So crit rate becomes really important. Can you get to that 100% crit rate mark? So when I have a piece like this, right, it's like crit damage, HP, and attack. It doesn't have speed. Remember what the set gives you. It gives you speed and crit damage. So as substat rolls, I need speed, crit rate, and crit damage. Those are it. I've got one of those rolls here. But I really need the other 2 rolls first. Crit damage is the third of the 3 rolls, not the first. So this is probably gone. Now this one has speed and attack. And you're like, okay, it doesn't have crit rate, which is a little bit tricky, but at least it has speed, right? This one doesn't have speed or crit rate. So again, you could go through every piece there. Perception for 5-star pieces where you are, especially if you're talking about like epics or rares, they need speed and accuracy. Right? Because if you just need speed or you just need accuracy, you're going to have options up here. Look how many of these, pieces that you've already rolled up. So you're like, all right, here's speed and accuracy. Here's speed. Here's speed. It's like, okay. For this set, again, it's kind of like what we were just doing with the Swift Parry set, which is think about the stats that the set gives and work with that to kind of decide where the pieces are going to be good. So for perception, optimally, I want speed and accuracy substats. Now, let's say I got speed, crit rate, crit damage. Okay, that could go on a damage dealer who needs a little accuracy. That could be a Wukong piece, right? But Wukong needs speed. He needs accuracy, and he needs damage. He needs all of that. So it doesn't have to match the set perfectly, but it does have to fit the usage for the set. So like this piece, no crit rate, no speed, no accuracy, even though it's a 6-star piece, this is a sell. There's no reason to hold on to that piece for any champion. There are no champions where that's going to be the optimal piece, or even like a piece that makes a kit work. You know, at least these all have speed. This one has speed and accuracy. This is a beautiful piece. It's got resistance. It's got attack percentage. You know, it's like those stats aren't going to be a throwaway. Even on a support, attack percentage works to give you a little extra damage, right? So this has accuracy at least, but that's really, really marginal. I probably wouldn't worry about. Same thing with this. That one's better, you know, so it's like these two are probably gone. And we should go through, you know, like these as well. All right, so these have speed, HP, resistance. That could be good. Nice. This is pretty marginal. That's nice. Maybe. I mean, usually it's going to need at least 2 of the 3 substats. You know, sometimes you just go for speed, but if you're just going for speed, what I would suggest is you roll it up. So it's like if I'm looking at this one, it's not bad. Attack percentage, HP percentage, not bad. But in this set, the reason I hold on to this is not for the HP and the attack. It's for the speed. So roll it. And it probably needs at least a double. So if it, you know, if it misses the first time, you can make it easier on yourself and sell it. Or if you want, you can roll it up to 8 and see if it lands in speed. And then if it does, you go a third time. But without at least 2 rolls into speed, remember, again, it's a 5-star piece. You've got tons of other options. Like if you're really looking for speed, you're going to end up re-rolling a whole bunch of these. That piece can go. 3-star pieces are not necessary anymore. Nope. No crit rate, no accuracy, no speed, no need. Nope. This is pretty marginal. This is pretty marginal. Nope. The more pieces that you have in a set in the same slot that are better than a piece, the less likely you need to hold on to it. Yeah, like I don't like that piece. That's not bad. It's hard to hold on to pieces like this. You know, especially when you have like what? 12, 15, 25. You have 25 other pieces that are better, you know, or could potentially roll better. Gloves and chest pieces are a little bit difficult because sometimes you just, like, if the main stat's good, you're just like, well, there's a chance. That's a nice piece. See, this doesn't have speed or accuracy as a substat, so even though it's an HP percentage glove, unless it's absolutely the only one that you have that's HP percentage. It's the only 6-star HP percentage, but so, you know, now you can do the same with chest pieces and all that stuff. I mean, you get so much perception gear. Holding perception gear that is like substandard, it just kills your inventory. So I would look at all of these sets from untouchable down. Let's see. Let's get all the way down here. So from untouchable down, I would look at them the same way you look at like relentless, right? Which is that you're more reluctant to get rid of pieces because you want to complete sets when possible. So think of it in terms of how many of that piece that you have. So if I'm looking at the Guardian set here, right? I look at all of these shields and I'm like, you've got 15 shields here. I don't need 15 shields. I probably want to hold on to, say, half of that many. So 6 to 8 of the best shields. So I'm going to look at my 5-star first of all and think about, who would these go on? Now, Guardian sets go on tanky champions. Tanks sometimes need debuff, so accuracy. They sometimes need speed, so speed and accuracy. They often need defensive stats, so HP percentage, defense percentage, resistance. Right? So this one here has accuracy and resistance. Now, crit rate is not, we don't care that much, but sometimes crit rate's okay. But again, this would be one that I would probably roll up to see. HP, that's not bad. It's not bad. Like, these are okay. But so I'm looking at these 4 pieces now. Accuracy, resistance, crit rate, accuracy, HP, accuracy, defense, accuracy, HP. Like all of these, like, all right, so I've got a bunch of accuracy pieces. This one's obviously the best one. It has speed, resistance, accuracy, and HP, 4 great substats. This one has 2 good substats. This one has maybe 3, actually. That might be okay. This one has 2. This one has 2. So, roll them up and see how they go. So, like, for instance, let's roll in this one. This one probably is only sticking around if it rolls a lot into accuracy or a lot into resistance, but not if it splits all of the results. So I want like double accuracy. Crit rate's already bad on this particular one, so probably sell that piece. So again, think of it in terms of like all of the pieces around it as well. You have so many shields here. Now, I wouldn't do this with the weapons. You only have 3 weapons. So hold the weapons. Chess pieces, you only have 5 chess pieces, so you can hold some extra chess pieces that are marginal. But the shields are just an opportunity for you to trim stuff out. 14 shields, we could get that down to 6 to 8 good ones, and that's probably enough. Roll up your 6 stars, see how they land. And then if you need any more, you can say, okay, I can start to stretch into the 5 stars. And that's going to be the same for all of these sets. Stone Skin, Protection, Kill Stroke. Some special sets are nicer than other sets. Like Instinct is really great because you can land into HP or defense or attack, and it can be valuable because ignoring defense just happens for every damage dealer. But if I'm looking at this particular piece, this is a trap piece. Speed, HP, attack percentage, and accuracy. And it double rolled into accuracy. Doesn't feel bad, but this is a broken set piece. This goes on a support who's not going to use the instinct set. So you could have saved your money, not rolled this up, and instead rolled up a perception piece, or rolled up a resilience piece, or rolled up an accuracy piece, or a speed piece, or a defense piece, or an immunity piece, or something like that. So it's not a bad piece, but it's not a good piece for this set, right? It's not great for instinct because instinct's about damage, which means crit rate and crit damage. This piece is actually better even without the speed because it's got 12% crit rate. This is much more likely to be used in a set, right, than this is. This is okay. No crit rate, unfortunately, but sometimes you don't need crit rate. Sometimes you can get, 70% crit rate on your Gembo or something, and this would work. Marginal. This is a bad one. This one, it doesn't have speed. It doesn't have damage. I can't envision a champion that this goes on. And I know it's 16, but this is a piece that probably shouldn't have made it to 16 Might have made it to 16 because you're doing an artifact enhancement or something. You're just like, whatever, I'm just rolling it up. Like, I get it. Sometimes that happens. But no way that goes on a champion. That never makes it on a champion. Double crit rate. Okay. Single crit rate with double attack. Not awful. Potentially usable. That's a little bit rough. This piece doesn't need to be held onto, right? Best case scenario, it's a broken piece. It's already rolled into HP percentage. See, this piece doesn't need to be held onto. We just checked 5 in a row that had crit rate, crit rate, crit rate, crit rate, crit rate, crit rate. All of those are better pieces. This is a pretty solid piece. It is a 4-star. I don't know that you're likely to use that, but don't have to trash it. You know, and you can do the same for all of the other pieces. Now, Righteous is a little bit of a weird set because sometimes you could just use it for speed. It gives you 10% speed instead of 12% speed. The resistance is almost an afterthought. It's like, yeah, it would be great on a cleanser or a reviver, but you don't actually care that much about the resistance, right? If it rolls well, you can put this on anybody in any set. So this is a little bit more forgivable here just because there's so much speed on it. You'd still rather have a speed set in most cases, but this is like another set you can think of. And if you do have a cleanser who needs to go fast, this is the perfect, you know, so this goes on Runekeeper Dazzler. That's what this set is for. This is on Runekeeper, maybe Elva, maybe somebody like that. Rock of Tide. You know, somebody where the resistance is valuable. I'll talk about these last 2 sets for a second. I have not done my own gear cleanse on these yet. But the thing about Supersonic is, so this fills the champion's turn meter by 2% for each buff on each enemy. So you get extra turn meter fill. This is a way to cut in. Maybe. This is a way to cut in an arena and to get a lot of extra speed, right? This set can give you 32 additional speed plus 3 turn meter effects. So running this set without speed as a substat seems really kind of questionable. Now, again, because it's a special set, you don't get that many of them. You may hold on to pieces that you wouldn't otherwise hold on to just to finish out a piece. But when I start looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shields, I want to think about, you know, who does this go on? Who does this go on? And, you know, resistance, HP, speed. Resistance, HP, speed. Who does that sound like? It's the same thing we were just talking about, right? With the righteous, like resistance, HP, speed. Reviver, healer, cleanser. That's what it sounds like to me. Can you get value out of this set on a damage dealer? Yes, absolutely. Getting that turn meter fill, cutting in with the damage dealer, nuking somebody out, incredibly powerful. But yeah, you know, then you need to get very specific stats on that. So you can think about, you know, cleanses for this set. Probably not yet, but in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you know, like once you start kind of clearing out the second rotation of Cintranos, you're going to start ending up with a lot of bad pieces here. I've thrown out a few pieces, like they haven't hit my vault because I've thrown them out before they've hit my vault. But once they get into your vault, you might just kind of forget about them. You're like, I just want to stockpile those pieces because the sets are so rare. But you can get in here and start to do cleanses. Merciless is about damage, and while you can use this on a non-attack based champion, you could use this on an HP based damage dealer or defense based damage dealer. because 35% ignored defense is just huge, and you get 30% crit damage here if you get up to 8 pieces, and the chance to reduce the cooldown. Like, it doesn't just have to be about the attack, but it is a damage dealing set. So again, crit rate is almost, you can't get away from it. You need crit rate. That's a nice fast piece with no crit rate. Like, this is almost better, even though it's only a single roll in a crit rate. Like, it's kind of hard to say, but a little bit tricky. Like this, I don't know who this goes on. It's not enough speed to make it worth just being fast. Potentially we might find that we're using Merciless for this 30% chance to decrease a random skill's cooldown when dealing damage. Now, it's when dealing damage, right? But potentially we might just like use 4 pieces on a support champion and go really fast. It's like, all right, the extra attack and crit damage, you don't care, but the extra speed and decreased cooldown chance is worth it. So, I wouldn't throw away pieces like this just yet. Or not that one. Where was I? This one. Like, I wouldn't throw away pieces like this just yet. But yeah, you've rolled some 6 stars just for artifact enhancement events. That yeah. And then you felt too invested to turn around and sell them. I do think that happens, and that's something that you can look at. You can look at all your, yeah. You can look at rank and rarity, but you can't look at levels. But you can look at your 16s. You can go through your 16s and say, did I 16 this just for an artifact enhancement event, and did it land like this shield here? You may feel too invested to get away from them. It's like, I put all this silver into it. You already got your reward for that silver. You got the artifact enhancement points that you were hoping for. Now do the same exact thing that you would do with an unleveled piece. Ask yourself, who can I envision this going on? It's not great for a damage dealer because there's no crit rate. It's not great for a debuffer because there's no accuracy. It's not great doing the primary role of the speed set, which is get fast, because there's no speed substat. It's not even great for a cleanser or a reviver because there's no resistance. Like, the best this could do is go on an HP based nuker who has a ton of crit rate from some other source, because then you get HP and crit damage. That's a real, like, there are like 3 champions in the game. You're like, yeah, that might work. So this should go, even though it's level 16. It might be harder to get rid of that. But here's the other thing. You get silver for it. Like, you already got the artifact enhancement points. Now you get the silver for it. Now you get the vault spot back. You get the inventory spot back. So don't hesitate to sell 16s, especially if it's 5-star gear for where you are in the game. 5-star 6, like this one is a little bit better because it has some crit rate on it, but still not much better. This one is significantly better, right? More crit rate. It's got accuracy. It's literally got 4 great substats. It did split all its roles, but I could still see holding on to this piece, because this could go on a faction crypts champion, or this could go on, a Hydra champion, or somebody who like needs a lot of every stat, like you could definitely do that. But yeah, don't be afraid to throw out, again, same thing here. Like, what do we do with this? Who does this go on? Who does this go on? And what would have to happen for it to be viable? Right? If you're running that much crit damage, you need somebody who's going to be critting, which means you probably need 100% crit rate. So not having crit rate substat makes it pretty hard. But maybe you could stretch, and if you get a ton of crit rate somewhere else, you could get crit damage onto this piece. But then why are you in the speed set? Why not be in a savage set? Why not be in the cruel set? Why not be in the instinct set? Why are we here in the speed set without any speed substats? So this is just a trap piece. It's just going to sit there for a year before you realize it's never going on a champion. You know, gear cleanses are so unfun. they're the least fun part of the game. I hate them. If I've sounded irritated this whole time, it's not you. Don't worry about it. It's not you at all. It's not you or the fact that you asked for a gear cleanse. It's just not fun. That's the reason why people ask for gear cleanses in takeovers. They're like, I need help making these hard decisions. And I think sometimes when you need to make those hard decisions, you need to be a little bit cold about it. You need to be a little bit harsh about it even. You need to say to yourself, like, I have to have a system. I have to have a system in place, and I have to be disciplined enough that that system overrides my FOMO, right? Because that's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against the fear that this piece might be perfect for some champion down the line. When the reality is the chance of that happening is so tiny that the disadvantage of just holding on to the piece outweighs the likelihood that it'll ever actually turn in your advantage. And so, you know, you need to just be kind of mean to yourself. You got to be like, nope, no, why are you holding on? Why are you holding? Stop it. You know, like, you know, Cursed is one of those pieces. It's a special set. You think about, I need a couple of, you know, Cursed pieces or sets for my Hydra clan boss teams. That's really the only place you use this. I mean, you could maybe use it in some wave content. But then you think about, what do you need? Like, what champion is it going to go on to? What are you going to need? It's the same questions we've been asking of the other sets. And we have to be harsh about it, even though we're in a set where it's like, it's hard to get the set and you do need it and it's a valuable set. But think about, who does it go on? What are the stats they need for their kit? And then what are the stats that they need to make this set viable? Without speed, it becomes a lot trickier. Again, it's got to be an AoE champion. It could be an AoE damage dealer, in which case you want crit rate and crit damage. It could be an AoE debuffer, in which case you want speed and accuracy. Right? It's probably one or the other. Sorry for making me suffer. No, it's okay. It's okay. I actually feel pretty good about this particular one. You know, I hope you didn't feel too pained by any of the pieces I got rid of. So it looks like we got rid of about 100 pieces. My guess would be, if you keep sticking to the same method and went through every single set here, you would probably get rid of another 100 to 200 pieces. You know, it can be tough. Like I said, you know, especially when you have level 16 pieces. Like, we look at this piece here. This is a really hard piece to get away from. It has a speed roll in the speed set, but you didn't land one roll into the speed roll. It doesn't have accuracy. It doesn't have crit rate. This piece will sit here forever. Yeah, it is that combination of FOMO and kind of the hoarding syndrome, right? It's like, but this is just for like any viewers out there. This is the kind of piece that just sits there forever, because it's like, it was kept for the right reason. 6-star piece in the speed set with a speed substat. The beauty of this piece would be a 4-star or four rolls into speed, right? Like, if you could get 20 speed out of this, you'd be like, yeah, that's fantastic. You know, 25 speed. It completely missed. But it's level 16. I've already invested all this silver. It's a 6-star legendary. It's got a speed substat. There are all sorts of ways to think to yourself, this might be usable. It might stay here. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is literally never going on anybody. It's never going on anybody. If you need speed, you need more than 5 speed. Even in the speed set, you need more than 5 speed. And if you don't need speed, you need stats that this thing isn't giving you. This is just a piece that sits here for a year. You know, this awesome piece. God tier piece. 54 accuracy, quad roll. 6-star piece. 54 accuracy. right? By the way, when you glyph this should have the maximum glyph on it. Like, you shouldn't have a +1 for accuracy. You should have the +10, right? So, or 12 or whatever it is. Let me actually look. $16. You get 16 extra accuracy on this. This one piece could give you 70 accuracy in the speed set. And probably all of the stats are going to be used. There's no throwaway stat here because HP, like, who do you need this on? Debuffer. Okay. Debuffer needs to go relatively fast. Good. Speed set with the speed substat roll. Okay. So you get decent speed out of this, a lot of accuracy. This is like, it's like a perception piece that rolled once into speed and 3 times into accuracy, right? Like, that would also be God tier. The attack is probably going to play because most debuffers are attack-based champions. The HP is going to help keep that champion alive. Beautiful piece. You should be looking to get this onto somebody. This piece, you should be looking to get your silver back. One speed roll, maybe. Again, no accuracy, no crit rate. It's a weird one. Probably not going to be used on anybody. This one's not going to get used anywhere. No, it doesn't get used. Maybe. This one probably doesn't get used. You know, now you're getting into the 5 stars. You could be even harsher about it. You know? So, yeah, I always sound grumpy when I'm doing a gear cleanse. I always sound a little bit harsh. Sorry. I don't mean to be mean about it. I'm not being like, you made the stupidest decisions. You didn't. It's natural. I do the exact same thing on my account. It's easier for me to come on your account and cleanse your account than it is to cleanse my own account because I struggle with the gear cleanse every day. So, yeah, you know, it's a situation where you have to sort of set up parameters. The best thing is always to ask yourself to envision what champion that it might go on, a piece might go on. By the way, it doesn't have to be a champion you own. It doesn't have to be like, you know, which champion of mine would this go on? It could literally just be like, is there a role in a team that you could see being fulfilled by this piece? And maybe that means you have that piece available when you pull that champion down the line. That's okay. I'm not against holding on to speculative pieces. They just have to be good speculative pieces, right? They have to work for something clearly. Like this piece right now is a speculative piece. This is not a bad piece. It's not a great piece, but it could be. Let's roll it up and see. Just got better. Hopefully speed again. Okay. Maybe the crit damage roll doesn't play. Maybe it does. Maybe it goes on a damage dealer. Maybe it's just somebody who needs enough speed that, you know, 13 speed makes a difference. Not an arena champion, probably. Maybe a faction crypts champion, right? Because you've always got, you know, well, actually, it's now it's now your fastest helmet. Let's try this one. We want to skip the defense here. But again, we get a double roll into speed. All right. Not bad. Not bad. You know, one of the things that can happen in a situation like this is like you don't have many, like you don't have any 6-star helmets that have a speed substat roll. So now you have to hold on to your 5-star pieces. Because if the speed is important, maybe that 13 or 14 speed makes the difference. Right? Maybe even that 10 speed makes the difference. Because you don't, like this 6-star piece, okay, it has crit rate and attack, but it has no speed. So the speed would, all the speed would be coming from the set bonus. In a rare case, that might be enough, but probably you're going to end up going with the 5-star pieces. Okay. So before we go, is there anything else you'd like me to look at? I hope that gear cleanse, I mean, I know it wasn't a massive gear cleanse. We cleared out 100 pieces maybe, which is not bad. Was there anything else you want me to take a look at? I'm trying to help. That's fun for me. I don't mind doing gear cleanses. I don't. Yeah, I know I sound grumpy, and I know I don't like them. I hate them. I do hate them. They're necessary. I don't hate reviewing how to do a gear cleanse. The task doesn't make me happy. Helping people make gear cleanses less painful for them makes me happy. That's totally fine. That's why I'm here. You know? I wish we had larger inventories. I wish we had, less RNG in the way that artifacts were constructed and leveled so that we didn't have to hold on to so many marginal pieces. I wish that the game didn't instill so much FOMO into us so that we just felt like if we ever got rid of a piece, it was going to be the end of our accounts, But I don't mind actually doing a gear cleanse as a takeover. Like that's not something that I worry about. Like I'm sure people have watched this and found it valuable. I'm sure that clearing out those 100 pieces has helped you because they may have been 100 pieces that you would have just never thrown out yourself, even though they deserve to go. So that's not an issue for me. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Don Kelly says, Call Red, thank you for the gearing advice. When I got my Burn Gary, he's a beast. Burn Gary can be so strong. He's really good. Destania says, I've started keeping only 5-star and 6-star epic and up. Am I wrong in valuing 5-star epic over 6-star rare? I don't know the stat difference. Okay, so that's important. We can look real quickly at that. So, we talk about 5-star versus 6-star and we talk about rarities. At my 2.5-year mark on my main account, basically, I need 6-star epics and better. I need 6-star epics, legendaries, and mythics. Like, that's what I need. But let's say I get a 6-star rare and I get a 5-star epic. What's the difference between the two? Okay, so the first thing is it depends on the role of the piece, like where it is, which of the 6 pieces it is. So for instance, if you're talking about a piece that can have a percentage main stat, like a chess piece, defense percentage on a chess piece goes up to 50%. You can see up here, you can always see the max. 5 stars is 50%, 6 stars is 60%. It's really easy. It's just the stars times 10, right? So 5 stars times 10% each, 50%. So what that means is a 6-star rare piece will get you 60% defense, but have fewer substats, right? Because it only starts with 2 substats instead of 3 or 4 for an epic or a legendary. So this 5-star legendary piece started with 4 substats, but the maximum main stat is 50%. So if I'm looking for survivability, chances are I want the 6-star rare piece. In addition, the roles that go into the substats, like the size of the substats themselves, are higher the higher the star rating. So if I look at, let's say, see if I can find. Okay. All right. So if you look here, there's a 5-star piece. I don't know where I am anymore. 5-star piece over here. Okay. So if we look at the 5-star piece, it's got 2 substat rolls into the HP. So that means it has 3 because it starts with 1 and then you land 2. So 3 substat rolls are getting you 14% HP on the 5-star piece. And then over here on the 6-star piece, we have just the base roll of HP percentage of 7%. So So this is actually the highest you can get. You can get up to 7% on a roll for a 6-star in HP, right? Likewise here, you can look at it. It's got a double roll into defense and it hit 20. Right? That means it's 2 7s and a 6. 7 plus 7 is 14 plus 6 is 20. 5-star pieces generally roll 5s. They can roll 4s. I think they can roll 6s, but they can't roll 7s. Right? And you can see the difference. Like here on this, right? With the speed, it's 2 rolls into speed plus the base roll. That's 3 rolls into speed and it hit 12. So that's a 4, a 4, and a 4. Or maybe a 4, a 3, and a 5. But probably a 4, a 4, and a 4. You know, so the substats will be higher with the greater stars, and the main stats will be higher with the greater stars. It's less important. It's less important when you are working on one of the top 3 pieces. When you're working on a weapon, the substats become more important than the main stat. So if you have one throwaway stat on, say, a 6-star piece, so like look at this one. So this is a 6-star weapon. The HP roll is a throwaway stat. Like the flat HP is basically a throwaway stat. Doesn't mean it doesn't ever play, but the value is so small compared to what you're looking for, right? So the speed roll is important. Maybe the attack percentage roll is important, but probably not. So despite the fact that you're getting 10 speed out of this with one roll, if speed is your goal, you would rather have a 5-star piece with a double roll into speed, if we can find one. Well, let's look at this one. So imagine here that instead of 1 into speed and 2 into attack, it was 2 into speed. Chances are that would roll somewhere around 12 or 13 or 14 speed. So at that point, it's better than this piece. Even though you're giving up the flat attack, even though you're giving up the HP, the purpose of the piece is for speed. So 5-star pieces are valuable. First of all, they're more valuable in the top 3 pieces. And they're valuable there when they get multiple rolls into the same stat. If they are splitting up their stats, they're generally not as good as 6-star pieces. There is an exception to kind of this setup, which is that speed boots at 5 stars are almost as valuable as speed boots at 6 stars in terms of the main stat. You're only giving up 5 speed there. That 5 speed can be critical sometimes, but sometimes it's good to have a mix of 5-star speed boots because as you're speed tuning, you need to hit specific speeds. And so sometimes just a swap of a boot from a 5-star to a 6-star or a 6-star to a 5-star will allow you to change relative speeds in a meaningful way. But again, 6-star speed boots will have better substats. Like the substats will be larger. Sometimes the substats don't matter at all on your boot. Sometimes they're critically important. So if we look at this Savage boot here, it's got a triple roll into crit rate. It is a 5-star speed boot, but the triple roll into crit rate is actually the most important roll. That's 22% crit rate. That's a huge number to get on a boot. So who cares if I'm giving up 5 speed if I've triple rolled into crit rate? For 5-star boots, for 5-star boots, I look for 2 substats. I look for accuracy and I look for crit rate. Sometimes I even look for resistance. You always need speed boots that have crit rate. That's just always going to be like for any damage dealer. You might say, well, I'd like to run my damage dealer in like attack percentage boots. Okay, fine. Then you need attack percentage boots with speed as a substat because you still need to stay speed tuned and you need to be fast. Like speed is just important. If it's a PvE nuker, you're running them in a speed boot probably anyway. So crit rate as a substat. If you're running a debuffer, you need them with accuracy as a substat. Let's see. Here. But preferably with speed as the main stat. If you don't need accuracy and you don't need crit rate, who cares about the substats? Like if you're running just a pure healer who doesn't need accuracy and doesn't need damage, if you're running on Godseeker and Eerie, maybe you care a little bit about resistance or HP percentage or defense percentage, maybe. But chances are you just need to hit your speeds. And so 5-star speed boots are kind of almost as valuable as 6-star speed boots. Yeah. Now, it's better to have a 5-star piece that gives you the correct stats and substats than have a 6-star piece that doesn't. Like, that's just true too. But 6-star rare pieces can be really good, especially as gloves, chest pieces, and boots. And then, the epics and the legendaries, like the 5-star stuff, you're going to keep for the top 3 spots in a lot of cases. I hope that answers the question. Yeah, Reborn GT says the same thing. Personally, I use 5-star gear on top pieces if substats are good, no 5-star bottom pieces. Again, 5-star bottom pieces, unless you rolled them up back when 5-star pieces were powerful for you and they're just really good, like they rolled really well and you just hold on to them because they're that good. Like, you'll find spot uses for 5-star pieces like chest plates and gloves and stuff. You will. But they'll come off your main damage dealers. They'll come off your main tanks. They'll come off your main debuffers eventually. I've done 2 videos on gear cleanses. And I've done several takeovers on gear cleanses. So they are out there. Steve B just cleared 200 pieces myself while listening and made 5 million silver. Not bad. Yeah, I think that's what happens when I do a gear cleanse as a takeover. I think people just do a gear cleanse right along with me. And so it's a good opportunity to do a gear cleanse. All right. So I'm going to hand this back to Lugia. Thanks so much for letting me tool around on your account. I appreciate the opportunity. You are very much welcome for the help. I'm glad that I could take that pressure off you a little bit. It's never fun to do your own gear cleanses. It's never fun to do anybody's gear cleanses, but at least I think this is an opportunity to see that there's a system in action. By the way, and this is important, I guess, if you have a different system for gear cleansing and you found one that works for you and it's not the way I do things, that's great. That's totally fine. I think the important thing is having a system. Having a system that allows you to not get frozen into hoarding pieces that you don't need. There is silver available in your vault right now. And there are if you're like me, what ends up happening is your vault gets full and then your mailbox starts to fill up and then your mailbox gets really full and then you have like 20 spaces left and now you're forced to do a gear cleanse and you got to clear out, 400 spaces because you've got 400 pieces of gear in your mailbox. And then you put all 400 pieces of your mailbox gear into your vault and you finally feel like you've done your gear cleanse. And now you've got 400 more pieces that you actually have to go through and cleanse because you just pulled them out of the mailbox. And it takes forever and it feels awful. So having a system to like streamline that and then doing it periodically, whether it's during a live stream like this or, whatever it is, during an artifact enhancement event, it's just a good practice to get into. Yeah. Omar says, my twin. Yeah, that happens all the time to me. I do a gear cleanse. I feel really good. I just removed 300 pieces. And it's like, I have 350 in my inbox. So, yeah. All right. So, that's about all the energy I have for today. I know it's a relatively short Takeover Tuesday. Usually we go much longer. But I am still recovering from COVID. And I feel like we've accomplished a lot today. So I want to say thank you to everybody who let me tool around on their accounts. As always, I appreciate the trust. And it's always fun to see what other accounts look like and how other players play. And for everybody who's been hanging out in chat all day, thanks for hanging out. Sorry you didn't win your takeover this time, but we'll be back next Tuesday with more takeovers as always. Thursday stream hopefully will be happening this week. We'll see how I feel. Again, it might be a shortened stream schedule. I was going to try to say that fast. You can't say that fast. A shortened stream schedule. So a shortened stream schedule, probably for at least the next week. Also, just a quick reminder, the clan cluster is up. It is live. We still have a few spots. We are shuffling people around, but when Hydra Clash ends tomorrow. The shuffling will be complete, and then we will get everybody who has applied into their clans if we can get them in. But I expect there'll be probably another 15 to 20 spots open, something like that. Maybe 15 to 20 spots open total in the cluster. So if you're still looking for a spot, go to the Discord community, check out the clan applications, and you can see what the various clans are in the cluster. And if any of those suit your level of progression, then you can make an application. Yeah. And that is it. That is it for me. Son, do you want to say goodbye to the good people?
Good rest of your day, everybody.
Have a good rest of your day, everybody, and we will see you soon. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to bed. All right. Bye.